Yeah. Right, hopefully we are live.
Ooh, hello.
Hello, everyone. We go down list of people watching. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Craig. Hey, Ellie. Hey, Vivian. Hopefully Chrissy will wake up soon. Hey, Chrissy. So, we're taking the piss out of Chris all the time by just saying, Chrissy, wake up. Okay.
He does look half asleep half the time.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, Gemma. Hopefully. Hey, Russell. So, hopefully, we've got everyone currently. If not, well, hey. So, yeah, hopefully, I might be doing these a bit regularly. Hopefully, hey, Moon and stuff. But to kick off with, we have Jerimie of Jerimie's Wild World. Hopefully, all you guys know who Jerimie is, but if not, here's Jerimie.
Hello.
Check out the channel. Is a fantastic channel. And stuff. Links are being posted and stuff, and go into the description and everything, all that lot. Stuff.
I noticed that. Thanks for everyone who's been subscribing. Much appreciated.
That's it. Let's get Jerimie to the 1,000. Yeah.
Oh, so close.
So 900. So hey, Greg. Stuff. So yeah, hopefully you'll soon be at that point. Stuff.
Oh, it'll be amazing.
Definitely. So, well, first off, I mean, obviously I know, but you keep quite an array of invertebrates. A bit like me, really. Like you seem a bit like me of just a very much generally sort of like, I like this, like that, and just
pretty much like anything that looks cool is like
selection that's like that looks cool. Oh, I'm gonna have that sort of thing. So, what sort of invertebrates do you keep?
So currently at the moment, I do have, as you said, a variety of stuff. I have mostly true spiders at the moment of this live stream. So because that's what I'm trying to focus on, we could talk about that a bit. But yeah, so I have a lot of true spiders. I keep stuff like Malaysian stuff, African stuff. I've got variety of true tarantulas as well. Not true spiders, tarantulas. So tarantula wise, I am keeping them mostly as pets nowadays. So I am just building up my collection of tarantulas, some stuff I've been wanting to keep and all that. I've got, ants, isopods, millipedes, pilled millipedes. What else have I got? I've got different kinds of centipedes. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else I keep that I haven't mentioned yet. Trapdoor spiders, I've got a couple of them at the moment. It's like when you have to remember what you keep.
I know. I know exactly what it's like. There's always something you end up forgetting, or like if you go through trying to list all the species of just a particular taxon, you're like, is that
like? It's like I was making a true spider list a couple weeks ago of like what I'm working with breeding wise, and I was like, and they're like, oh, do you still have these? I was like, yes, I just forgot to put them on the list.
Oh, hey, Aaron.
Yeah, pretty much anything you can think of, I have kept it at some point, and I don't think there's a couple like miscellaneous inverts I haven't kept yet, but I've pretty much kept every single type of invert you can get in the hobby.
Yep.
At this moment in time.
And I mean, in terms of the UK hobby, there's quite a variety.
Oh, it's the one thing I love about the UK is the prices and the variety.
That's it. Definitely make everyone in the US very jealous with our prices and some of the things that we can
you could just be like a giant African millipede. You can't keep these.
And they only cost us £10.
If they sold them there, they'd be like $100. Like, oh.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, what got you first interested in the world of invertebrates?
Well, to be honest, like I always say this when I get asked this question, is I've always been interested in animals ever since I was a kid. Probably the mostly with everyone who's watching and yourself since you were a kid. And like I've always been into like the prehistoric stuff. I used to love my dinosaurs and all that. Still do. But when I was introduced to the invert hobby, I was really into fish keeping, and I was thinking like whilst I was in college to maybe start up some kind of aquarium thing. I loved aquascaping, and I've bred a few species of fish in my time. I've bred like the designer breeds or morphs of the bristlenose plecos. I've bred angelfish and stuff like that, just out of the hobby. And I thought maybe I'll get into that. But my friend recommended to me in college, 2019, the Brighton show. And I was like, what's that? He's like, oh, you can go there and you can see all the different kinds of inverts and stuff like that. And at the time, like this was me, I was like terrified of holding a tarantula at college. Like I thought that was so cool, but when we did the handling stuff, they had a Heterometrus Silenus and a Brachypelma Homori, and I'm just there like, oh my god. So I was like, you know what? Let's go have a look. And I went over to the Brighton show, went on my own. I just started my YouTube channel. It's like my fourth video. If you guys want to check that out, I sound really cringe in it, but
We all do. We all do.
it was great. It was a really honestly, I can't watch my old videos. I sound so robotic. But yeah, so I popped over to the Brighton show and I was absolutely memorized. I was like, you can actually keep these inverts like here. I was like to my mum, oh, I might come home with one or two things. And she at the time she was like, no, I don't want you to bring anything back. I ended up coming back with I think like 10, 11 different kinds of things, mostly detritus stuff, so like the cockroaches and the millipedes and stuff like that. But I did come home with the praying mantis, and that's really what started off my passion. And since then I've been obviously accumulating a massive collection, and now I'm hoping to establish a business here, working with miscellaneous inverts like true spiders and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can thank the 2019 Brighton show for where I am today.
That's fun. And Brighton show is a really good show as well. If anyone
It was
hasn't been,
amazing.
stuff it gets packed in there.
Oh my god! I was like, I couldn't even get to the tables. I was like, oh, millipedes, I want those.
So, but I mean, well, since then you've been to the Bristol show, been to the BTS, been to Bedford, and you actually was a vendor for the first time at Bedford show.
That was awesome.
What was that like for you? I know you've helped out Tony on Venomous Vision Sounds a couple of times beforehand, but what was it like actually having your own tables that you could just set up how you want it to be and stuff? How was that for you?
Like, yes, like I have had experience vending before, helping out Tony a couple of times at the shows, but just like heading to the show, like you can ask my dad, like I just like the whole time now, I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know how the show's going to go. I was like freaking out. And I was like, at the same time, I was super excited. And when I got to the show, I was like, okay, let's do this. And we got all the stuff. If you guys haven't checked out my Bedford show video, you'll see the time lapse in there of me setting the table up. I did it a lot quicker than I thought I would. And then it got to the point where like everything was set up. And I'm like, oh, no, this doesn't look right. I'm going to move this all over the place. And, making that table look great. But yeah, as you were asking, like it was a fantastic experience. And it's just really nice to, know that people were interested in my stuff and people coming over asking questions, even if they didn't buy anything, just having people talk and ask questions about certain species and, taking an interest. It's really nice. Like the one thing I love about the shows is being in a group of people like-minded and having a good conversation with people. It was really, really awesome. And, the money was great. Yes, the money was great, but it's the experience of talking to people that I love the most and, sharing my passion with the miscellaneous stuff and, spreading my goals and stuff like that with people and them taking interest was really amazing for me. From, even kids coming over and having a look and taking an interest in stuff. Like the one thing I'll remember is a family came over and they were looking at stuff and, they had 3 little kids and they looked at the crabs and I could tell like these kids wanted these crabs. They were the red apple crabs. I was moving them along. Nice. In the Tesserama Aubrey. So I popped the lid open. The kids were, oh my God, you can keep the crabs. And the mum's like, I could tell she wanted them, but at the same time, she didn't want to buy them. And yeah. I was like, I was talking to her. I was like, look, these guys are really, really easy to keep. I've had these guys for like a year and a bit, and they're great for kids. I showed them like these crabs I had personally, they were handleable. Bit jitterish, of course, they're a crab. But once they got into your hand, they'll slowly walk around and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, they're great for the kids, very easy to keep. Went over basic care with them. And I was like, look, I have them at this price. I'll knock them down to tenner just for you guys because I know it's made for the kids. I don't care about the money. I want the kids to enjoy them, stuff like that. So yeah, I knocked down the price and they're like, okay, we'll have a think about it. And then when I saw the kids running over, like, we're going to get them. And then the mum's like, okay, we're here for the crabs. I'm like, okay, here you guys go. Like, that's things like that just really make me happy. Like seeing the younger generations getting excited over different types of inverts and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. As we know, they're the future of our hobby, keep things going and stuff. And sometimes just seeing their face light up and like we're able to get this thing, just that sometimes is far more to you than any money made from
100%.
So just that you've made some child's day kind of thing. Like
you should have seen their faces when they were holding the Brapas tub, and their mum's just like, "Thank you," and they're like,
"That's brilliant,
got crabs."
And that's an amazing thing for them. I mean, I remember my first time getting my first ever exotic pair of a leopard gecko when I was 7. So I'm just
Oh yeah.
so, and then even now to this day, I'm sort of like, oh my god, I got this.
It's like, yes, I got this.
It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah,
It's
go
like
for it.
the
Great.
first and the last is like always the best. Like the feelings never change.
Definitely. But I think that's what definitely for because you're going to be training at Brighton, I believe, as well, aren't you? At the Brighton show?
Yes, confirmed now, guys. I am going to be training at Brighton. So if you guys are interested in miscellaneous stuff, got a lot of breeding projects. Maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. That have been successful. So hopefully those will be at the show. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely go and check Jerimie's store because sometimes you can sometimes get a bit samey with some of the shows. Some of the vendors will sometimes be like, transfer, and it's all sometimes just very much the same sort of stuff. So for me, as someone who likes quite a variety of inverts, it's nice to see things they don't always see, like the carnivorous snails that I got from you and stuff that you don't see those at every single show.
Yeah.
And stuff, it's something different. I'm like, that's different. It's been years since I kept it. I was like, I want them again.
Yeah, they sold out. Like all 8 were sold. I was like, oh, yeah. Amazing.
I was so tempted, but they Bugnut Clayton had a different species of same genus, but yeah, slightly different. And it was in like 5 tubs of 5 of them. And I was like, wow. I've got 10 kilos of volcanic rock dust.
I was like, do I get more?
But I sold before I decided, yes, I'm going to get more.
Oh, nice.
So, but is what it is. Hopefully, you'll get some more in, perhaps.
Fingers crossed.
So, yeah, hopefully, like I say, it was in his Cameroon shipment and stuff. But yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. So, what are perhaps some of the breeding projects you are working with to give some people a bit of a flavour of what you might have at Brighton?
So at the moment, success-wise, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I have been posting some of the sacks I've been pulling because I couldn't go to the Coventry. So I was like, you know what? Some of these sacks are due to be pulled. I'm going to pull them today and see how they go. So I have had a few true spider sacks hatch out. So I've had captive born Peloctonus hematosoma, which are the red fang wandering spiders. I had a successful sack of those. About 100 odd slings, all looking really healthy, and a couple of them have been feeding already. So hopefully they'll molt a couple times. I'll have a few of those at the stand. I will also have the giant fishing spiders, Dolomedes ocophinicensis. I've had 2 sacks from 2 different wild caught females, again captive born. So hopefully the goal with those is to raise them up, pair them up, and sell on excess stuff. But I will probably bring a few slings along with me, maybe cup them up in groups and sell them as groups instead of individual, because my god, there are loads. Like, let's see. Like, this is the one sack
let's put you on.
That's hatched. I don't know if you can see all those little diddy bits.
Full screen for that one. Oh my god.
But yeah, they're like all at the front here, all in the back, in the corners as well. There's about, I'd say, around 200 in here. And then again, with the same sack that I pulled yesterday, roughly the same amount too. But bear in mind, guys, when you do work with true spiders, the slings aren't very hardy, and pretty much like 90%, if 99% of them die in the wild. So maybe in captivity, probably maybe 50 to 70% of the sack will live. I will try my best, of course, to keep as many as I can alive. But so far, all of them have been feeding. So yeah, and then so I had those. I've had something very exciting that I'll announce it here. I've had Holconia insignis successful captive bred pairing be successful. The female has torn the sack a little bit so I can look inside, and I've seen the nymphs crawling around in there. So Holconia insignis in the UK, captive bred by myself. That is just, oh my god, amazing stuff. Just, oh god.
that is awesome. That is very awesome. I mean, need more as well. We need people, feel like you are taking a real interest in those sorts of things to breed them.
Yeah, it's like I was really gutted in the heat wave. I lost practically my whole breeding colony except one mature male that molted out during the heat wave, and this adult female. I put them in together. They bred for like 18 hours, and I was like, because it was really strange behavior with him. He tore off his pedipalps after the breeding, and I was like, God, I can't pair him again now. What if it wasn't successful? She dropped the sack, and I was just, every day like shining a torch. Is it still there? Is it still there? And then when I saw it yesterday, like you wouldn't believe my excitement. Like just the fact that I can say that I've bred Holkernia. Like
No, definitely do. All right, Scott, catch you in a bit. Yeah, no, I feel the same with some things. The first time that my Panda Kings bred, I was like, yes, finally. The first time my Rubber Duckies bred, I was like, oh my god. And then my Lemon Blues, I was like, oh my god. Sort of thing, seeing those first podlings, you're like, yes, this happened.
like, oh my god.
So I'll certainly be doing that as well when like my Porcellia Werneroi or Porcellia Bolivari breeds as well. I'll be like, yes.
Oh my god. I can't wait for the Werneroi to breed. Like, that's stunning.
I've been looking at Werneroi for so long, and then picked him from Clayton Curtis even at the AES show because I was like, the prices he does them. I was like, yes, that was a
amazing prices. Check out Curtis at the show, guys. If you're looking for isopods, check him out.
Definitely. He is one of the top guys in the UK.
Oh, 100%.
He does them at incredibly reasonably priced because he's just a private breeder. He's not a business or anything really. He's not interested in mail order or anything like that. He's just like, nope, I do what I do. Put on tables and there we go. Stuff and
I do want to do something like Curtis as well, where like I could just like sell these slings at extortionate prices because I'd be like, who else is doing captive born and captive bred true spiders? I don't know anyone in the UK right now that's focusing on that. I could sell them at extortionate prices, but that's not the goal for me. The goal for me is to establish them here in the UK, just like tarantulas have been for how many years now. And so we don't have to rely on wild caught true spiders as much. Just like we still get wild caught tarantulas from Asia and Africa, but the hobby is primarily captive bred, and that's what I want to achieve here with the true spiders, raising up these babies from captive born individuals and captive bred stuff, getting the pairs, passing pairs along to other breeders who are interested as well in working with them to establish populations, and just ensuring that we can secure these animals if for whatever reason they ever decide to cut off exports. We don't have to worry about that. We have populations in the UK, stuff like that. So like these slings, like at the shows, they won't be like ridiculous prices. They'll be really cheap, to be honest. But yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Kel. Very much appreciated. I'm sorry, guys, if you guys are saying stuff in the chat. I'm trying to read it a little bit, but
no. I mean, if anyone does have questions for Jerimie, do put them in the chat.
Feel free to put a question. I'll have
a
read and then I'll answer any questions that you guys have.
I think that's very well said, Kale, and absolutely.
Thank you very much.
And it's for me, the smaller breeders, as I've focusing sometimes on just a few little things, are vastly important, and to support, and stuff. Because I don't know that's what's going to keep the variety kind of available and stuff. Doing these sometimes the things that not necessarily everyone's thinking about stuff, and yes, obviously you can get the trees from Spider Shop or Bug Nut or whatever. Again, like I say, when it comes to like the lichen huntsman, so many people just buy the males because they're so beautiful and don't think about
exactly. Like they don't realize that the males are the ones that are bright green and the females are dull, but they're massive. And like, I've got a pair of those right now, so I'm hoping to pair those. Fingers crossed. I've got like all different kinds of huntsmen and stuff. Those are my favorites. Like I keep saying I've made videos and stuff, but I'm sorry. It's just but I made a video on my top 5 true spiders and Sporatidae or huntsmans. Some of my favorite stuff to work with, and I've got a bunch of stuff right now in the works to hopefully get a bunch of them established here, because like you said, like Bug Nut, Spider Shop, they bring them in, but they're seasonal. Like they'll come maybe once or twice a year, they'll come up a bunch of them, they disappear again, and I want to ensure that the consistency is there. You're like so to the point where they'll be like your LPs or your Nandi Chromatus and stuff like that. So you can get them whenever you want.
Yeah, that's it. And it's things like that will, make some of the more, some of the things that are deemed unaffordable more affordable for people as well.
Exactly.
More available and stuff. And, it doesn't really take much to suddenly shut off imports from countries. Hey, Callum, depending on kind of what that country's government decides, suddenly just can't get stuff. Can't get stuff from India, can't get stuff really from East Africa, and so that then makes certain things so rare in captivity.
The prices are just extortionate.
And that's it. The prices just then skyrocket. And so
it's the exact same thing that happened with Pandas Imperator.
Yep.
You had them at £20 a scorpion, maybe
I used to
10
get them at a tenner.
for young ones. Yeah, there you go, a tenner.
You
can't
used to
find
get
juveniles
adults
cheaper.
for a tenner.
Exactly. It's like that was the common thing, and you can get them whenever you want, and then all of a sudden they were like, nope, stick them on CITES. You're not allowed to export them from their origin country of origin anymore. So now people will be like, okay, we can breed these, but we're going to jack up the price because we can't get these anymore. Now you won't find cheap at this time cheaper than £60, £50. Probably the cheapest you can find, like a younger juvenile adult pairs at 200, 250, and it's it's because people were just like buying them when they came in. When they realized that the source was cut off, and that's what happened.
I think it was cheaper to buy them than it was to actually breed them, and so because you can buy captive born or captive bred scorpions, but they'd be like a fiver next to £10 for a sub-adult.
So why would I go for a baby? I could have the cool adult
because
it's just a little bit extra. Yeah, exactly.
I've got a big ass, real nice big scorpion, and no one bred it. And it's not just obvious, that it actually damaged zoo stock as well, and stuff because me working in zoos, even zoos weren't had Pandas and Emperor scorpions, but they weren't really breeding them and stuff. And then all of a sudden there was none in zoos because
you just couldn't get them anymore, no matter if they were CITES or not.
Throwaway scorpions, are nothing special. And then now it's like, oh my god, they're like the holy grail of scorpions in a way. Well, possibly Gigantometrus Samadam is perhaps holy grail, but
that's a dream right there.
I had them, and I regret to say that I never had a pair. Couldn't get a pair because I got a nice big one, and it was about maybe 20 quid.
So you can't even imagine that
20 years ago. So
if Gigantometrus came in a hobby again, they'd probably be selling for like 180, 200, maybe 100 for a scorpion.
Yeah, it's insane, but is that okay? But certainly with like a scorpion, something I want to do on my scorpions to try and breed try and see if I can breed as many species as I can of scorpions, because there's a chance that things like Heterometrus spinifer could go on CITES because they kind of took over.
There was even rumors of the whole Heterometrus genus.
Yep.
I know some have been reclassified, but the whole genus was just going to be cut off from exports. And that's scary stuff. Like, that's a hobby staple. Like, everyone knows the Asian forest scorpion.
Because they took over from Pandanus, because I want big black scorpions.
Just a big black scorpion. That's the next thing you get for a tenner.
And so it is a thing like, anyone with scorpions, try and anything you can get, try and breed it. If it's not being bred that much by anyone, have a go at trying to breed.
They're cheap enough to breed at the moment where any hobbyist can do, and it's not hard to breed them either. You need a big tub, a flat surface for the male to lay his deposit his sperm onto, and him to drag the female over it, and that's it. I bred spinifers. Spinifer pair cost me £30. If you guys are interested, definitely give it a go. I highly recommend it. I will never say to a hobbyist, do not breed your stuff. If you have the opportunity to do so, and you have the, you don't. It's like, the one thing people are scared of like smaller hobbyists, are like, what am I going to do with all the scorpions? Like, there's many other people that will take them in. You don't have to sell them. We'd be happy to take them in, raise them up, pass them along.
You'll distribute them so easily. It was nice to see actually at the show. Steve W had his venom for the first time. They had Gigantometrus Anus that he's bred on his table.
Amazing.
And that's what's so nice to see. Someone who's just complete hobbyist like ourselves. Here's imagine
here's my captive bred stuff.
Sort of thing.
And if a general hobbyist can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly. Absolutely. Johnny, Heterometrus Anus, if you got a pair, have a go at breeding them. Have a go at breeding them.
100%. I gave my spinifers a go. First time pairing, 30 minutes. They paired up.
Yeah.
Got the female, who's hopefully gravid right now. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Feisty
I mean,
girl.
the only thing with scorpions is that they just females take a long
This is
time.
gestation
to
time, yeah.
produce.
This is
That's all.
gestation. Oh my god! Like
Gestation's
I'm probably
a long
looking at
time.
maybe like late next year, if that, to have the babies. And I
That's-
paired these May, so probably next year July to September time she'll drop, maybe.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It's like with the pandas, they take like what, 2 years?
That's it. Take forever.
Yeah.
It's just all like, oh my god. Here's one reason that if you can find captive bred pandas, especially in Predator, that the prices are just sky high for captive bred ones, but it's worth buying them at that price because someone's put in 2 years of investment into it.
Exactly. It's worth the money, guys. Okay.
Right, absolutely. But yeah, I'm kind of like I say, I've got the Viatora, so I need to pair up because I like when I get a female, I like to wait for a little bit before I pair them up, just in case they've come in gravid.
Yeah,
So
you never know because she might try to kill him, and because she's already paired up and
that's
stuff
it.
like that.
That's it. It depends on. Most scorpions, they don't necessarily need a lot of food. When you say scorpions aren't the best eaters, some of them really don't need that much food.
Like in the wild, they'll have one opportunity every few months to have something to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of mine, I'll perhaps pop a cricket in like sometimes twice a month. Sometimes
if that.
Because there's some species do like a lot of it. Like when I've kept the giant flat rocks, they seem to like quite like
gluttonous
food.
little things. Those are
Right, those things love their food, even though they don't look like they would because they're so thin. But
they can cram a lot in there.
But they tell me much more than any of my forest scorpions that I've ever kept.
100%. It's like it's the flat rocks that eat a lot. The heterometras, they're like, it depends how plump they are. And then you have the desert scorpions, they'll be like, I'm good for the next couple months, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. And then they go into molt, and it takes them like months to molt.
It's like half a year to molt. Okay, thanks.
I had that with me Arizona Harriers. I spent about half a year in pre-molt. Oh, you've actually molted.
So it's like, you're not fat. You're just in pre-molt. Thanks.
Yeah. That's it. But the thing, when a scorpion looks fat, you're like, right, it's one of three things: pre-molt, fat, or it's gravid. Which one is it?
I need to stop feeding you. You're pregnant, or you're gonna get bigger. Now it's a guessing game.
It's like anyone's guess.
At that point,
anyone owned a Death Stalker? I haven't because I don't have DWA.
Neither. I mean,
so,
I'm only 21, guys. Okay, still living with your mum and dad. Even if I did have a DWA, I wouldn't keep any here right now. It would be at a facility at some point. That's the main goal. To have my own facility like Bugs UK. Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, it's doable. I don't know. Have you been to the Bugs UK site? Yeah.
Not yet. It's too far for me right now. So once I think I'm gonna wait for it to like establish a little more and then pop over. But,
that's it. I know they've got plans. I think for next year to do at least another building.
Oh yeah. See, that's worth waiting for.
So yes, 3 buildings at the moment.
Oh wow.
That's what they opened up with, but I got like 5 acres of land there to like that. They've
got a lot to work with then, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. So I mean, you go there in total it's like 5 years. 1 building's a calf. Pretty decent calf to be fair. Stuff which they open up first.
Yeah, I've seen some of the food. Looks really good.
It's pretty tasty. Then I've got the shop and entrance area with all sorts of info related things. And you can buy any of their stock from there as well. Stuff.
Oh, that's great.
That's
not it's great, but it's not great. I'm gonna be like, because spend all this money getting here, spend this money to get in, and spend more money to bring stuff out. Like, that looked cool in the enclosure. I don't have that yet. Do you have it for sale? Okay.
Like, I think at one point there was like a shortage of like Manchester enclosures because Bugsy K basically bought them all for their shop. stuff. Just a whole shelf of mantis enclosures for sale.
Oh my
Like,
god.
that's where they went.
Ah, that's where they went.
But fair enough. But yeah, it's a bit of a bus mentality going there. But like, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it and stuff. And they've got taxidermy stuff there as well. So they got a whole big display of pinned butterflies, moths, beetles, and stuff. The nocturnal room with black lights over scorpions.
Oh yeah, I've seen
And
some of the
stuff.
pictures. It looks so good.
Yeah, you can see all that, which is really cool. And yeah, I've definitely got some big plans for the place. So it's definitely one to look out for, that sort of thing.
Oh, 100%. I am going to visit at some point. Whether my wallet can afford it is a question now.
That's it. Just getting that. Oh, I want that.
I'm going to wait for when they have a good import of true spiders, then I'll make my way there. I don't have to pay postage. I do have to pay for a 3-hour
Just
train
have to
job.
pay to get there.
I don't have to pay the £10 postage, but I have to pay for a £50 train ticket and a bus ride.
Hey, Jazz.
Hey, Jazz. And hello, everyone
Hey,
who's
Wayne.
popping over, trying to read the chat and stuff.
But so yeah, well, obviously, so we the past couple of weeks you went to 2 invert shows
Yes.
in 2 weeks. I've just done 3 in 3 weeks. I'm knackered from shows.
Oh. I wish I could have done the 3 in 3 weeks.
Okay. It was yes, it was a great day. But I believe it was your first time going to the AES show last weekend.
Yes, it was. That was really enjoyable. And it's quite nice for a different change for once. As I mentioned in again my video. I'm sorry, I keep talking about my videos. But as I mentioned in my AES video, it was quite nice to see a different variety of inverts, as well as of course the pin and taxidermy stuff. It was quite nice to see they had a really cool variety of Leoptera, so the moths and butterflies, and the phasmids, which of course the sticks and leaf insects. It was amazing to see all the different kinds of stuff there. You know, with the invert shows, as much as I love it, it is primarily tarantulas. So it's quite nice to see the oddity stuff here and there up for grabs. And I did pick up some of the some moths there. I picked up some Atlas moths. Do I want to get her? I want to get my female who emerged today because her wings still look nice. At the same time, do I want to get pooed on stream? I don't know.
It's worth it. It's worth it to get pooed on.
Go on, then. I'm gonna get her out. She just emerged last night. Oh, Jesus. Don't poo on me, please. Ah, ew! She missed. Oh, she jumped. Oh, Jesus. Oh, she just pooed all over my bag. Oh, thanks for that.
Oh dear. Right,
There we
there's
go.
on full screen. Look at that.
So if you guys don't know this species, this is Atticus atlas, commonly known as the giant atlas moth.
Stunning.
The largest species in the world. And this is a female. Now, unfortunately, her wings are a little bit crippled, as you can see. But she is pretty much perfect. Like, her wings came out really well. I have a male who is a couple days older than her. So what I'm hoping to do tomorrow is when she starts laying her eggs is to hand pair them after work. And
Nice.
hopefully get some Atticus caterpillars for sale at the Brighton show, because their eggs only take 2 weeks to hatch. So if everything goes to plan, I should have some
I'll be as much as
some
I'm
caterpillars of these guys.
Caterpillars also. I bought a caterpillar years ago, like almost like ready to be paid caterpillar. Years ago from the Midlands Entomological Show. It was like a £5
Ooh,
for like this massive giant caterpillar.
a really big
I
caterpillar.
looked like, I looked like I had horns on it and all this stuff. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome! And it's an Atlas moth caterpillar, so yes, please. The amount of privet that thing ate was insane.
Oh god, I literally, oh, she just pooed on my hand. Of course, yeah, do it off camera. Don't do it on camera. I don't want people to clip that. But yeah, it's like I bought some cuttings today, and I've bought 2 privet plants to start growing. I've got death's head hawk moth caterpillars on the way to me this week. 24 of them.
Nice.
So that's gonna be fun. A lot of privet. Oh, can you get off my hand? Oh, come on.
Yeah,
There you go.
definitely a lot of like, yeah, I'll be tempted by some caterpillars. As much as I'm trying to go out of like food plant eaters, I do have privet on site here, and I could justify putting privet in every single day for caterpillars because that's the amount they eat,
Exactly. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like they
and they
just.
fall a lot as well.
Oh,
Like
God. It's,
whenever I've kept some reared caterpillars, I've had to clean them out daily and feed them daily just to because
just
otherwise
to keep them satisfied, to
just
have a healthy
satisfy
weight to
me,
pupate.
just
It's
sort of
true.
thing. Because otherwise, it
The
just
amount of poo.
seems like no, what the hell's going on?
Oh,
Sort of thing.
not looking forward to it, but it's going to be nice because like the main thing is I'm going to hopefully keep a few for myself for photography and pinning, and then might be able to offer some cocoons because they are like pretty decent size L2. So maybe I'll have cocoons by Bright. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if not, there will be like L3 caterpillars. And what I plan to do is have like a privet bush display with all of them on there, and then I'll have some gloves with me and I'll pop them into a little pot tub. So if you guys are looking forward to that.
So
Something different again.
yeah, something different that you don't see all the time. Hey DJ. But yeah, no, there's and that's the thing I really like about like the AO show. Although I know it was your first time. I've been doing that show for years, and it was a lot smaller than what it normally was. But that's what I really like about that show is that you'll always see different stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
As of that, you wouldn't see it because there's breeders that do that show but won't do any others. I think sometimes.
It's like never seen so many like different kinds of butterflies and stuff for sale, and like it's straight. I've never heard of these companies, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so
they
cool.
won't. Some of them just have no interest in doing like some of the other shows, because they get enough business just from that one, and then like mail order and stuff and things, which is just like insane.
But it does make sense. Like if you're close by and you don't want to travel and you make enough money at this show already, it's like.
As it's name's Matt, I think. Of course, the entomologist place all does all the butterfly chrysalis and stuff, and some of them are so cheap that he sells them for.
It was crazy, and I'm looking at the prices online. I'm like, how? Thank you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I believe he supplies most of the other suppliers.
Really?
So like, yeah, he gets them straight in, and like that's how he's able to do. You know,
yeah, I think it's a massive polybox of these Atticus cocoons. I'm like, oh my God.
That's it. But you know, because some companies will only, when it comes to Lepidoptera, only sell like cocoons by the 50 sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've got nowhere to put 50 of these things. might only live 2 weeks on their adult because I have no mouth parts. But
like, where am I going to put these things? These will take up like an entire room.
Yeah, I mean, last time I had, at the beginning of this year, I bought two chrysalis and just had them free roaming in my lounge for a couple of weeks. It was interesting every morning coming in and saying, right, where's the moths?
Where have they gone off to? It's like with these guys, like, if you guys don't know, they do tatter their wings up if you keep them in a mesh enclosure. And God, like, just can't sleep in. It's just all morning. And as soon as I put my flashlight on them, they're like, oh, now you stop. Just before my alarm goes off. Literally this morning, I'm like, But never mind. They're amazing, and hopefully I'll be able to breed them because it's not something I ever thought I'd be working with. Like, for me personally, I like my carnivorous inverts, but it's pretty cool. Something different to work with.
It's something different, and that's it. It's something to tick off and be like, oh, I've done that.
I've done this now. I've bred moths.
That's it. You go, and sometimes we do something and go, you know what? Yeah, I've done that. I don't need to do it again. Sometimes I really enjoyed doing that. I'm going to carry on. It was
fun doing it. If I want to carry on, I can carry on, work with other species. Hence why I'm trying the death's head moths.
Yeah, absolutely. They're amazing as well. They're amazing looking things.
Stunning. Like seeing them at the show, they were way bigger than I thought they were. Like gigantic.
Yeah, good. Because Curtis works with them quite a lot as well. He breeds his Wrigley. So, I mean, what other things are in the pipeline? What kind of species are you looking at getting?
Ooh. Now, that's like something I can't really answer like specifics right now, Mostly, I'm looking for obviously true spiders because that's the main focal point of my miscellaneous breeding. Is going to be the true spiders. They're my passion, what I really really enjoy. Probably right now I'm on the eye out for Lycosidae, so the wolf spiders and stuff like that. So I have right now working with I've got the Hogden Lenta whites, got two of those. Unfortunately, both I had a group, a couple of them died. Wild caught, problem with wild caught. Had two egg sacs. One was eaten. The other one had bad eggs in it, so the nymphs ended up dying. So that's a
There's
shame.
more.
But yeah, it's just you live and you learn. You know, not everything's going to be a success and stuff like that. But yeah, so other lycosids I'm working with right now is Hogna Maderiana. I've got three females, all different sizes. Hopefully, find a male. I did buy 5 juveniles and hoping of at least one male. I know all females, of course. But yeah, so got the Maderianas. I've got also Hogna carolinensis. I've got a large female right now. So hopefully next time TSS gets the American import in, I can hopefully grab carolinensis male, but we'll see. But yeah, so I'm after any lycosids at the moment. So probably the main thing I'm after right now.
That's cool. Have you ever been to Whips or something to see their Hogner Ingens?
I have not.
They're
I
nice.
need to. I remember seeing that. Was it? Did they do a live stream pairing them?
Well, it was a live
Facebook.
stream where Ty, attempted to pair them and they weren't interested, I don't think.
Yeah, I think because I was at work and I just saw this pop up on Facebook saying giant spider breeding. I was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked it and it was just like, oh my God, I've never seen that. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I've seen. Actually, I haven't seen Whip, but I'm hoping to see Whip's ones. I think they're behind the scenes actually, but I've seen them at Bristol. Bristol ones that were sort of running the project and brought them in. The first one to get them basically off Desertes Grande, and the first people in the world to breed them and stuff, and breed them very successfully.
That's an achievement. That is an achievement.
Because they're like one of the rarest spiders in the world. They're a stunning wall spider as well, and they're the largest wall spider, I believe.
One of the largest, yeah.
And stuff. And they're endangered because of the grass, primarily. An invasive grass.
We wouldn't believe it. So the invasive grass is killing these things because they can't make their burrows anymore.
Yeah.
It's like because the ground is too brittle. Isn't it because they make the ground brittle because of the rooting?
Yeah, so they can't. Well, they can't kind of dig their burrows because of the roots, and then it kind of destroys their burrows and stuff. And yeah, it's like this whole host of things. It's like, oof, but they are stunning spiders. When if you get a chance to see them at some point, it's worth seeing them because big females are big. Stuff.
I love the large lycosids. They're amazing. My carolinensis is not even fully grown, and she's like, I'd say 3-inch leg span. It's gigantic.
Yeah. So and then and the markings on them, they are stunning. But then when you see them covered in spiderlings, I Bristol had one of their females had something like 500 spiderlings.
Oh my God!
To the point that every single part of her body, legs and everything, was covered in spiderlings. Right, how are we meant to look after this? They're underneath her, they're on top of her. She can't move because of these spiderlings. They're covering everyone. They're covering her eyes. Had so many spiderlings, and okay. And they're their first time breeding them, and they had thousands. In one go, they're like, okay, we managed to do this. We need to get these out to other season. Another thing.
Well, Bristol, if you're watching this, I'll take a few in.
So they're definitely obviously moving sites and everything now, but the project from is trying to get the go ahead to start releasing a load back to the wild and stuff.
That'd be great.
To take a load to the SS Grande to start sticking them in the wild again and stuff, and they're working with the snails out there as well.
Those really tiny ones, right?
The Madeiras out, so it's only perhaps Bristol. Obviously, can't go to Bristol anymore, and possibly Chester that are working with them. And stuff.
And they had the first captive breeding. Was it this year, right?
Potentially, yes, potentially. And so there's again, no one's ever done it before. No one's ever even attempted to keep them.
That's just the main thing. It's just
And it was
stuff like that. It's just amazing stuff.
Where they're like, right, what did these eat? And everyone went, like,
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. It's like with the predatory stuff. You're like, oh, I can chuck it cricket, chuck it any feeder insect. But that's with the thing with the detritus stuff. It's like you just don't know what they eat in the wild. No, the trilobite beetles, the larger pill millipedes, and the larva snails. Like you just don't know what their specific diet is and whether or not we can replicate them in captivity.
There's certain things that we potentially never will be able to replicate.
Yeah, we just can't because the thing only exists in the wild and needs certain conditions, and we can't replicate that in captivity. Unfortunately,
larva snails are a good example.
Those trilobite beetles, they're amazing. But funny, it's funny that they're all females. The ones you see, they're all females, and the males are like super skinny with wings. And it's just like, what?
No one ever. But also, like, no one ever. When you do sometimes see them for sale on certain lists and stuff, no one ever collects the males.
No, it's always the females because that's what people see.
Yeah, and that's what people think that they are. It's like, no. There's one.
No, they're females. You need the males if you want to keep them in captivity potentially.
Yeah, and then so like all the other stuff, but it's like, well, certain things like you just don't think about, like with Porcellio expansis, fantastic isopod, and like a friend of mine got sent a load from another zookeeper friend of mine got sent a load from another zookeeper friend of mine. He was like, "You've sent me a huge amount of these things. These were so much." And it was like, "Oh yeah, I got thousands of them." And it was like, "How?" I was like, "Oh, I went out and looked at them in the wild and they eat algae off moss."
Yeah, it's like. How would we know that? Like, what? It's so random. Algae off moss. Like, it's such a specific diet. Like,
yeah, but that's what it too is that this one person, essentially him just going out there because he's absolutely bonkers. He's a crazy Hungarian that loves his inverts, looks at stuff and it breeds.
It's like, okay, like I'm not gonna maybe bonkers, but you know your stuff.
he knows his stuff. Grayson point about predatory beetles. Yeah, predatory beetles, very, very difficult to.
If we could crack that in captivity, like imagine if we could get the ant replication with our native ants, game changing.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I remember, again years ago, I was keeping Amphias sexcutata when you could get them and stuff. The real big ones from India.
Yeah, really.
And was I trying to when I went to my first ever conference, there was someone there presenting on how to breed them. I was like, oh, fantastic! Someone's actually done this. What the hell? It's a no, they hadn't. They were lying. Stuff. They presented at a zoo conference that they had bred them, and literally everyone went, "What?" Because their trick was keeping them on cement.
Cement.
Like, oh yeah, mix cement in with their substrate so they can burrow. And went, huh? Makes sense.
Cement. Okay, I would get the what's that clay stuff, the excavator clay.
Oh, excavator clay.
Cement.
Yeah. No, this is just literally regular builder cement. I was like, okay,
okay, buddy, okay.
And so, feed
with a beetle that's found in the trees.
Adult locusts, and I was like, well, they eat ants. They make small stuff. So why are you feeding it dead locusts, adult locusts, sort of thing? And yeah, basically we all kind of agreed that they had one bury itself and then reappear a few months later, kind of thing, because they had no evidence of eggs, no evidence of larvae, this is what we feed the larvae and stuff. I'm like, well, this is all information that we don't really know. That we need to know to be able to go bread them.
It's like in the wild, they're literally found within trees, like cement. Like, come on. Like, I'd understand if you're like, oh yeah, have arboreally rotten wood log, but no, cement.
Cement, yeah, keep them desert and on cement. And another friend of mine who'd actually gone out and seen them in the wild was like, they live on cotton soil. Sort of thing. They go through monsoon seasons. They don't live in the desert, really.
He's probably thinking like, oh, they're Anthea. Is it Sex Maculata?
The Sex Maculata, yeah. Well, the Egyptian one. But even them, I've got one It was given to me by a friend of mine. He's had it for 6 years.
Wow.
He had it for 6
6.
years. I've still got it. And he was like, I was like, "Good, what are you doing?" He was like, "I flood it." He was like, "I flood it every so often." Because again, he was like, they're not actually that very much deserty. They're like, again, they get flooded and stuff in the wild. That's all it is.
It's
So,
the same with the Asbolus varicoses, isn't it? Like, they're not supposed to be blue. They're supposed to be dark because
they're
they live in grassy areas.
They're black in colour.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
like,
much black. But
yeah.
because you keep them dry in captivity, and that's what people like, the blue.
Yeah, and pretty much everyone keeps them on sand because that's what they're sold on. They're sold always on sand because it stands out. That's why mine are on topsoil.
Straight topsoil.
Topsoil, a little bit of sand in there. I'm actually, I need keep changing it, keep sounding changing. I need to change it out. Put a load of leaf litter in there because I actually going speaking to people. Well, people who have spoken to people in the States and stuff, they actually keep theirs very much like fruit beetles, like Satonidae. And keep them purely on like leaf mulch. And that's what a lot of people that are actually managing to breed them.
To breed them because they're actually giving them the breeding condition. Oh, you know what? I have to try that because all my culture right now is all females. So I'm just keeping them in a desert enclosure with my Arizonensis. But if I ever get males again, might have to make a little breeding tub for them, see what happens.
Yeah, plant the grass. That seems to work quite a lot with getting a lot of his grasses, planting grasses because they'll attach the eggs to the grass roots and stuff, and they'll eat the roots and stuff, and then lots of rotten wood and rotten leaves and stuff for the larvae. But keep the larvae, it's warm, for like 31 degrees warm, like for the soil, but also moist.
It just gives me what's that mantis? The Idolamantis vibe. So you want them to go from sub-adult to adult, you need to keep them at 35 degrees, but then you need to keep it at 80% humidity. It's like, how am I supposed to do that? Like a heat lamp and a mister, like that just doesn't.
That's it. You kind of go to get everything there. You're like, what? But again, we sometimes forget that deserts aren't necessarily hot and dry
all the time.
They get get bushes and stuff, and there's humidity underneath there. There's it's not just sand. Sometimes it is soil. There is leaf litter in the desert sometimes. So there's like really don't
the plants can't just grow on straight sand like bushes.
That's it. Especially like in Arizona and stuff where Blue Death alien beetles come from. As you look at it, and it's like, well, there's a lot of greenery there. Underneath that greenery, there's going to be a fair bit of humidity, most probably.
Microclimate of humidity, not just dry.
That's it. That's something that I think we sometimes forget with a lot of things. They come from a hot country, they must like it hot. No, not necessarily. Or they come from the rainforest, they must like it really, really wet. Well, no. It can actually be quite dry.
There's a reason why arboreals are arboreal in those humid areas, to escape the dampness of the ground.
Yeah, exactly. But even on the ground, sometimes it can actually be quite dry in the middle of a rainforest.
Yeah, because the amount of leaf litter on
free draining that soil. That yes, it rains every day, but within an hour or so, that substrate on top is dry.
On the top is dry with all the leaf litter on top. It's how, like, for example, the dart frogs, they avoid foot rot because they live in areas with lots of leaf litter, so their feet aren't constantly touching this wet soil.
Yes, yeah. And that goes the same for millipedes and centipedes.
Yep.
Because you see, you sometimes see a lot of foot rot in millipedes and centipedes where they've just been kept on stuff that's just too damp for them. And so that, and they just can't escape it. And it's all like, and the problem is they bury into it, kind of thing. So then, like,
they just don't help themselves. They're like, get away.
Into it. And stuff. That's all like, they don't want it wet, kind of thing.
Yeah, not soaking. You want ratioed areas, so you give them the option of dry and damp.
That's it. And they're trying to allow that, a gradient of it. And so the animal can choose if it wants more moisture or wants to be a bit drier. And I think it goes for a lot of things, whether it be myriapods, whether it goes for isopods, tarantulas, scorpions, all this stuff. It's try and give
variability, not just one or the other. Yeah,
that's it. So, something that, yeah, again, we kind of discuss a lot within the zoo side of things. A lot of time is actually options for our inverts. That'll be my cricket most probably, Greg. I've got one very loud cricket that has not called at all until we started the stream.
Typical.
I don't really hear him because I use black crickets all the time. So I don't really hear him until someone points it out to me that, there's a cricket calling. Because I've grown up with cricket since I was 7. So,
like say with I haven't grown up with crickets, but like I'm used to the sound. But then the only reason I know is because my mum will start screaming, like, "Where's a cricket again?" Like, "Mum, it's in the tub. It's in the tub. Okay."
So,
I'll kill it.
Either in the tub of crickets or in an enclosure somewhere, sort of thing, or just roaming
or just
around.
like just vibrating in the corner of my room, like.
That's it. That's it. So the other day I had my yellow spot assassin bugs calling the other day. That was a bit odd.
Wow, they cool.
Yeah.
What, like a stradulate or like a proper?
Oh yeah, no, the wings are going. The wings are going.
Really?
Because I saw it happen, I was like, I can't really get it through the side of the plastic. And if I move this enclosure, they're gonna stop.
They're gonna be like,
sort of thing. But yeah, there was one on top of the bar, just straddling his wings. And I was like,
that's so cool.
Look, I've had them since 2019.
You've never seen them do that.
Never heard them call before.
That's things that are so cool that you just discover captivity.
But like, I was like, what's that called? That doesn't sound like a cricket. What's going on? And I was like, it's not my Cosmoderus because they're not adult. Yeah, and I know what the males sound like because I've heard they call, and that's really odd and stuff. I don't know if you've heard Cosmoderus call. The giant crickets.
I did have a pair, so I did hear him call. It's such a weird thing. Like, you'd think they wouldn't be able to because they just don't have wings. They just it's really quiet. It really sounds quiet, like really kind of drony.
Yeah. And you're like, what's that noise? What's going on? When I first heard it, like, when I first heard it, I was like, what the hell is that noise?
I was banging my TV because I thought my TV was going off. I was like,
exactly. Like, why? What is going on? It sounded sort of, something like electrical fault going on somewhere, whether it be TV or something like. What is happening?
And I look in the tub. I'm just like,
and then it's a giant body cricket. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, well, you're not noisy. I'll accept that. The whole reason I don't keep the dragon-headed Acadia is as much as I want to breed the dragon-headed Acadias. I probably could. Because I have easy access to the banana plants. My friend, he can get me one. Filipino stuff. But we use the leaves for cooking, so we grow the plants. Yeah. But like, see, I can easily get a plant. But like, all my stuff, I don't know if you guys can probably tell, like I have my bedroom, but I always call it my bug room with a bed in it at the moment. So like, I care about my sleep. Like the moths are one thing, but a Lacina screaming at night, oh my god! Like I don't think I'd be able to.
No, thanks.
Not yet. The plans are to renovate the garage, and when that's done, that's my main priority is to use that mesh enclosure, big banana plant, pair of Lacina, but not now. I want sleep.
It'd be amazing if someone can get dragonheads breeding. I don't know if anyone in the UK has actually managed to breed them. I don't know.
No one in the UK, but a few people have done in Europe and Asia, of course, where they come from. And from what it looks to be, it's leaving a bunch of like broken down banana palms around the bottom so they can feed on that and not chew up the live plant. Watch them pair, have the female lay them in between the layers because they don't just stab it straight in, they lay them in the layers of the plant. Yeah. Then they'll peel it back and they'll take the tubes of eggs and then they'll hatch them in an incubator. That's what I've seen.
Because there's something about the banana that like protects the eggs, isn't it, or something like that? It's
some sort of enzyme that protects them from mold growth.
Yeah, it's a bit like Scolopendra eggs, and need to stay with the mum to clean the eggs and stuff.
Yeah, because like the saliva, or I don't know if it's saliva, but the liquid that they produce is an antibacterial.
That's it. Yeah, and it's all like that's what it seems like. Yeah, the dragon heads sort of need. And so I know, BCA the only person I saw trying to, I don't think they were able to, but they had them in like it was like a 3 foot long, 2 foot tall Exoterra. I don't think for one pair.
Wow.
And then they planted like 3 little banana trees inside it.
Oh, that would be amazing. I think what I'm going to do with this one, is I think if I get everything right, have the banana plant in the middle, no substrate, just damp tissue paper, lots of old banana palms for them to chew on and fruit and dead insects for them to eat, keep them together and hope to witness a pairing.
I mean, that'd be cool.
Maybe.
But I definitely wouldn't want them in my flat just because they're amazing looking. But
they are beautiful,
but they would keep me up at night. So.
Yeah, crickets are one thing, but that can screech and you can hear them from miles away. Oh god, no.
I think they're like
I can't do
the loudest insects. Obviously, cicadas are the loudest. I think dragonets are they're up there.
Cicadas are the loudest. Then it's like those giant, those really big katydids, not the dragonheads. Those really big ones that have like that wing cover. The S. grandis.
Is it the one that John Loach has?
Yes. Those are very loud as well. Like very loud. Like they're cool, but again, no.
Yeah, it's like he was trying to tell me. I was like, no, I'm going out with my bramble and stuff eaters. Plus, they're going to be loud. I was like, yeah, they're very loud.
Yeah, they're very loud. It's just, oh god, not yet.
Because he was trying to tempt me. Yeah, always showing me at the AES show. And I was like, absolutely stunning stuff.
They're beautiful. I won't deny that. But God, I do not like
and,
cool.
I like katydids. I've kept the Floridian katydids, ones that everyone keeps. Kind of thing.
Floridian ones.
Yeah, they're lovely.
They're great. They're not too noisy either. They're noisy, but they're not too noisy. I had my parents and had a bug shed. Lucky. I had them in this next to my bed. And then they'll and I'd be like 4 in, just like, oh god.
The only thing I've had noisy, actually, I do have stuff in my bedroom, was Xylotrepes, Gideon Sumatrensis, them breeding at night. That was quite noisy.
Just hearing them scratch around in there, like.
And then the male trying to fly. Stuff just buzzing around and stuff.
That is the one thing with beetles that I just despise, is the flying around. I have that with I have a breeding group of Escutata, the I don't know the common name for them. There's like cool little beetles. Ones. Yeah, they're like red and green with white spots.
Yep.
When I got them, because I keep them in a drawer under my bed because it's nice and dark, and all I heard for like 2 weeks was a male going. Because I gave them enough space for them to move around, not just straight to the top of the lid. Boy, here all night. I'm like, God.
That's it. It is the thing with beetles. Hey, Silex. Oh, recommend the fake soil.
The fake soil. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It was a thing we did on Mitch's stream, where like I was talking about what stuff I was bringing to the Bedford show. I said flake soil, and Mitch heard fake soil, and I was joking about. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's all going to be 100% microplastics. It's going to be brown little bits, microplastics. You never have to buy substrate again. You could just wash it over again." And that's my idea, guys. No one's stealing that. Okay, reusable substrate. I can't believe it's not substrate.
I mean, if we could reuse flake soil, that would be amazing.
I like after my breedings, I just chuck it and use it for my isopod substrates.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
But reusing it again, like, oh god, that would save so much money.
I need to start making a new batch myself because I'm pretty much at the end of the batch. My first lot that I ever made of flake soil.
How'd it go?
Well, it's like it looks completely different to everyone else's, but I've got Hercules on it, and getting chunky, which is nice. I've got 7 Calcosoma Cocorsicus larvae on it.
Oh, nice!
And
I saw those.
They're getting chunky. Yeah, but
Oh,
they've only just
beautiful.
gone. They're like, right, let's check this tank out, see how many we got, sort of thing. Like found 7 nice sized larvae like that. That's nice for my first time actually being able to get larvae out of them like,
Oh,
properly. And like
nice, dude.
actually, and, like,
I didn't have
you know,
much luck with my Atlas, unfortunately. The pair died like maybe a week after getting them.
oh, that sucks.
I know. Like I just found them female just slumped over the top, and then the male was like on his way out too. It was just like, oh,
Uh,
never mind.
hey Matt, hopefully, hopefully in like 2 years' time I'll have beetles.
Hope to get that major because that's the main thing. You're gonna incubate
Oh,
this pupa, and you need to get a major male.
if I don't get a major male, I'll be gutted. I mean, well, at least if you get a minor male, at least it can still breed. But like,
Yeah, it's like raising them to be impressive things. It's like when my Homoderus gladiator, my first generation of them, like the male was dinky. I got him from the spy shop, dinky little thing, and then I paired them and I raised 2 larvae came from the pair, both males, gigantic compared to the other 2, and that's just on flake soil. Let alone I've got Dorcas titanus on Kinshi right now,
yep.
and in the week I've had them on, they've like doubled in size already. I'm like, this stuff's good.
Do you make your own kimchi or do you buy that in?
I buy it in. Got a friend who works at Oyster Farm, so he can get like the old bags and sell them to me.
That's pretty handy. I was having a chat with guy at AES about kimchi. And they were just trying to make me jealous about how cheap it is in Japan.
So yeah, it was the guy selling the Goliathus frames.
Also, and had the Jungle Gems book.
Yes, near the food shop, the food truck on that side of the area, right?
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. And so
Kimchi's like what, a couple quid per bottle?
Yeah, he was like, he asked his friend, he was like, "What's the cheapest in Japan?" He's like, "Yeah, like $2." And it's like for the longest.
Makes me want to cry, man. It's like I paid
yeah,
£27 per big bag of kimchi.
I feel like that's why I don't do stags. And I was like, but people, I mean, going into kimchi, there's probably a lot of people going, "What the hell's kimchi?" Can you explain what kimchi is for anyone who doesn't know?
So essentially, with stag beetles, you can raise them on flake soil, but kimchi's like the creme de la creme of substrates for them. Essentially, what it is with a mushroom, we all know the fruit that comes out at the top. So the actual thing you see above ground is fruit, but the actual mushroom is within like the ground and stuff like that. So in the wild, these stags will find areas where the mushrooms growing, lay the eggs, and the mushrooms will feed on. I think is it mycelium? Is that what they call? Yeah. So the mycelium essentially is like the body of the mushroom, and they feed on that. So got really high protein. In captivity kimchi, we make it with like mushroom blocks. So we seed like a substrate, for example. Wood shavings or stuff like that. We seed it with like a common edible mushroom, like oyster mushrooms or turkey tail, stuff like that. Allow them to grow the mushrooms. They cut the fruit off, sell them, and then what you have left over is a massive block of compact mycelium, and we use that in captivity for a protein supplement and a substrate for the beetles. Basically, long story short, it allows you to get really big males and bigger beetles in general, because the protein allows them to grow bigger and therefore getting a better size grub in the end. Like, definitely can notice a difference between flakesole and kimchi. As I just said, my Dorcas titanus larvae that I got off Ben, I had them for a week and they've doubled in size just from being on kimchi. So if you guys are into breeding beetles, stag beetles specifically, definitely get yourself some kimchi.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't used it myself, but like,
if you gain beetles,
it's what people,
stag beetles, definitely.
Anyone doing stags is always like, get them on kimchi, kind of thing.
Straight on kimchi. Now, some don't need it. Like I said with my Homoderus, I raised them with flake soil and supplementary proteins of dried gamara shrimp as a layer within the tub. I got major males, really big males out of them. Same with my Lamprima. I bred Lamprima Adolphine.
It's
Tiny male, really minor male. My males were double, triple the size of my original male, just on flake soil. So you don't necessarily need kinshi, but if you really want those big major males, definitely recommend kinshi.
definitely, yeah, and then with things like your rhino beetles and stuff, like flake soil all the way. Like flake soil is just
It's just
amazing
straight flake soil. If you want big males, straight flake soil.
and stuff. And yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, yeah, flake soil is basically fermented sawdust, essentially.
Yeah. It just sounds like, oh god, why would you spend money on fermented flake soil? But it's like, it makes big beetles.
it makes and it's yes, to buy it works out expensive, but it's because it takes quite a while to actually make it.
Yeah.
And by looking at it, it can go wrong so easily.
Yeah, I mean, like you have it too hot, it molds. If you have it too cold, the substrate like basically decomposes rather than ferments.
Yeah.
Basically, you want to ferment it. You don't want it to rot, and you don't want it to grow mold. You want it just the right temperature, so that the flake soil breaks down slowly.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. And then, well, with Milo, I didn't add any additional additives into it because I done the recipe from Richard's Inverts. So I sort of went by his recipe for flake soil, and it was like, if it's your first time, don't add any additives because you've got more chance of it going wrong. It's like going to spend all this money getting more ingredients just to go crap, ruined
It's
it.
like a month later, like, oh god, there's just this white ball of stuff in my mouth. Like, I don't think that's supposed to happen.
That's it. But I say, hopefully, it seems to, sort of works out. Sort of like, right, I'll make another batch and see how that goes as well. Still buy flake soil just to.
It's all trial and error at the end of the day when it comes to making stuff. So,
no, that's it. And stick in with various other things like some of the just regular Cetonidaes and stuff, so the sun beetles and various other flower beetles, and even crumble it in with some isopods and stuff, just to see how it goes.
My substrate that I use for my isopods all have like old flake soil in it. I do also give the millipedes and stuff like that little chunks of the kinshi. I found they really enjoy that. Obviously, being detrivores, they will eat mushrooms and stuff in the wild, so having access to kinshi, just a little supplement, great protein source rather than an artificial fish food or something like that, dog treats, stuff like that. What people usually feed roaches, you can give them a natural, high protein, supplementary food.
Yeah, definitely. Well, have you ever tried the basically do it's not getting the best, basically old mushroom box based where it's not quite kinshi, but it's still just the wood with the mycelium in. And stuff like that.
I have not tried their one yet. Is it good?
It's all right. I know Intech Farm, they also used to do them as well. They used to do bigger ones for like a $5. And stuff, kind of break up and like everything just raves over it whenever I get that stuff and give it a thing because it's like the perfect amount of rottenness for things like rhino beetles and stuff, and it's got the mycelium in it and stuff. But like again, cockroaches rave over it, isopods would rave over it. Maybe you had to watch for it because it comes hydrated. It molds really quickly.
Really quick, yeah.
So you have to be careful that you don't put it in and it just molds over.
Just don't put too much in, put a little bit amount.
Just a little bit in, or mix it underneath the substrate and stuff for like larvae and stuff. And they do it dried, but it's more expensive kind of thing. They get it kind of like pulp, dry pulp. But that works well because they just get it again just from mushroom farm. Where it's just going to be chucked out.
I mean, the mushroom farms are going to throw it away anyways because once they stop producing the fruit, it's practically useless to them. So you might as well, if you guys are local to a mushroom farm and you're beetle breeders, ask them, do you guys have any old mushroom blocks that you guys are going to get rid of? I guarantee they will give them to you. Save money.
Or if you keep, like I say again, millipedes or isopods or stuff, anything that is detritivore, have a go because it's all good stuff for them and stuff. And it's, like I say, it's a lot more natural than giving them a dog biscuit or whatever and stuff. And some great protein in there.
100%.
So that's cool. I don't think anyone's actually asked any questions in chat yet, but if anyone in chat does have any questions for Jerimie, do put them in the chat, and so we'll put them to Jerimie. Well, okay. So when did you start doing YouTube?
Oh God, it was. I think was it? Let me double check. I can look up my my studio really quick. Oh no, it's downloading. Wait, I use my old phone. Bear with me. I think it was 2018. I made my very first video on all my pets,
Nice.
and yeah, it was. I made it mostly as like my friends were like, Jeremy, why don't you make a channel? You keep a lot of animals. This was at college. And my friends like, you keep quite a nice variety, and I've always liked watching fish tubers and stuff like that. Of course, when I first started, I was really into fish. I had 3 or 4 tanks at a time, so I was like, why not? I'll make a channel. Yeah, 3 years ago. So that's my very first video. Don't watch it, please. I can't stand it. But yeah, I basically so I started it, just on a whim. I'll try it out, see how I like it. And as time went by, I saw the subscriber count go up. I think my most viewed actual video was a how to breed mealworms video, which now I look back at it, I shouldn't have used, because basically what I did different then was I used wood shavings as a substrate instead of oats. And the reason I did that at the time is because one, the wood shavings soak up any smell, and that's why they use of hamsters. So I thought, I'll just use it in the mealworms. They did breed in it, and they do chill on the wood. But the downside of that, it gets really wet if you leave food in there, and with more and more worms being produced, so it just stinks. But that was like a really big viewed video, and I was like, wow, I actually got a lot of views on this video. And I just carried on, and of course, as I got into the inverts more, I had more stuff to make videos about, unboxings and rehousing, show videos, care guides, and stuff like that. But yeah, so I really do enjoy the YouTube, and the main thing of why I do the YouTube is because, again, I want to portray that. I guess most people do it. Inverts are cool. They're not scary. They're more scared of you than you are scared of them. This is what you can keep and how to keep them, and of course to with my miscellaneous stuff, get the word out there that these things do exist and you can keep them. They're not just something you can see on a documentary. The ogre face spiders and fishing spiders, like you've seen the David Attenborough stuff of them chasing down prey. You can keep them in captivity very easily, and it's just the stuff like that. And I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I really like your videos, Jeremy. Like you made me want to keep this species of inverts and stuff like that." Like that stuff just keeps me wanting to go making videos. Like I'm sure you can agree. Like having someone be inspired by yourself is another experience nonetheless. Like I'm just a random guy on YouTube talking into my phone for ages.
I'm just picked up a phone and gone, oh, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like literally I just do everything on my phone. Like all my photography, like I do macro photography, because basically the macro camera lens on my phone does it automatically. I do all the photos on my phone, so if you guys check out my Instagram, like the newer posts, I've started to do more macro stuff with my light blocks and everything. That's all on my phone. I edit on my phone, record on my phone. Everything's on my phone. And do I plan on getting a camera someday? No, only because that stuff confuses me.
But I mean,
maybe a macro camera, but not video recording camera.
Yeah.
Well, I say that now, but who knows? But right at the moment, no, I don't want to work with cameras. Too expensive and confuses me.
Well, I say it's what I mean. Like I can explain to people all sorts of things on various inverts, reptiles, amphibians, whatever, lighting of them, how to heat them, blah, blah, blah. But you asked me to fix a car like that. Sort of thing. You asked me how to do this certain thing with
it's
technology.
Like Mitch was making fun of me because I didn't know how to send a letter out in the mail. I've never had to send a letter. Like it's not my fault, and they're all bullying me. Like, I think the side still he was making fun of me too. I'm like, I don't know how to send a letter.
but
still
that's
don't know how to.
Still don't know how to.
No.
So you're not going to be doing mail order anytime soon, then?
Well, and letters. I can send. I know how to send stuff in the post,
Ah,
but it's just actual letters, like to send stickers out and stuff. I don't know how to do that. I don't know, buying stamps or whatever. I don't know how it works.
fair enough. Right. Russell asks, favorite pet you've ever owned? Ooh.
Favorite pet. I've got to think about this now because I've got a lot of stuff.
It's always a difficult one.
It is. Honestly, it is. But you know what? I've got to say that in the invert hobby only, I'm just going to generalize this for the invert hobby. It's got to be my very first mantis ever. Because when I was a kid, like, praying mantis were the thing for me. I loved them. Every time they came up in the documentary, I'd be all excited about it. And to actually have one in person was amazing. And I was lucky enough at the time. Obviously, I was completely clueless on them. I grabbed a giant Asian mantis, Hirogela membrancina. Lucky enough to get a small nymph that ended up being a female, and she was just amazing. I was feeding her, and I just couldn't believe I actually had a praying mantis in my collection. I called her Dice because the little arms dice things up. And that mantis really got me into the invert hobby. If it wasn't, I think if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I'm completely honest, because when I was into the fish, I didn't really have a massive passion for inverts. I was more into the fish stuff, and I watched Dark Den. Like, he was the guy that I watched apart from all the fish tubers I watch. I barely watch fish tubes now, mainly invert stuff now. But Dark Den, I had that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pokies are cool and stuff like that. But having that mantis really did change my passions for sure. So yeah. Giant Asian mantis, basic starter stuff, but then again, without the starter stuff, most people wouldn't be able to get into the hobby properly.
And they're amazing and sometimes underrated.
Very underrated. Like, guys, if you have not kept the giant Asian mantis because they're a basic green mantis, stop thinking that. Get one. Very aggressive eaters, very easy to keep, and the females get massive for a mantis. One of the larger.
They're absolutely amazing. I think that goes across. I mean, it goes across so many animal industries, hobbies, whatever. Where you get the beginner ones, and then people move on and go, "Well, I find them now boring because I want to keep this stuff that's more advanced." Whatever. And it's like, well, don't forget about those guys because they're actually really awesome. Like curly hair tarantulas, one of the best tarantulas you could probably keep.
I love my curly hairs. I love my LP. Like, every time I see my LP, I've got to sing recently.
They're always out and about.
Yeah. Like, my very first tarantula was a Nandu chromatus. And I still have him. I'm pretty sure it's a male. I've had him for 2 years now. I love him. He's great. They're like, oh, the Nandu chromatus, everyone has one. But it's like, they're still beautiful. Like, red abdomen, black and white striping. They get huge.
Yeah, they're stunning. I used to say in the stick insect world, Indian stick insects, they're amazing things. So again, in the stick insect world, we're going to go, oh, well, they're just Indian insects.
They're not common. Everyone has them, but they're cool, man. Like, they were my very first invert pet when I was a child. Like, I remember
they were mine as well.
Very frequently. Yeah, I had them in like a little plastic jar thingy, rose bushes. 3 of them. I had 3 of them. They were so cool. I was like 10. They were my very first insect ever.
That's it. And then 6 months later, had 1,000 of them.
Like, I think I got away with that. I don't remember ever having them breed, but I think I only had the 3. Thank God.
I definitely had the one of my first ever Indians. Yeah, didn't realize about the parthenogenesis because I was like 8 or whatever at the time. And stuff.
And oh my God, Dad, why are there so many walking sticks?
Suddenly there's baby stick insects walking up the curtains and walking everywhere. And stuff.
They're just getting everywhere.
Because
God.
Just had them in basically a plastic like extraterritorium type thing. Well, that's before extraterritorium was a thing, but that sort of style thing with the all the vents at the top, and at that time no one had said anything about well, the nymphs can get through those gaps very easily because they're smaller than the gaps. So, it was still after someone. Oh yeah, if you put put some tights around the lid that was stopping from getting out, sort of thing. So then we had to go out and buy some tights just for second sex.
It's like I still use tights today. Wait, let me grab the breeding tub. This down here, I have to put tights on the breeding tub, guys. Like, I have to put holes, and if I don't, can you see them in there?
What ones are those ones?
These are the red fangs.
Oh,
all
they're
huddled up. Yeah, I didn't do a great job of peeling the sticker. It's an incubation tub, guys. Like, you don't have to have it look pretty.
Again,
oh, there we go. Can you see all those little brown specks, those little grey specks in there?
Oh yeah, oh blood. There's loads.
Oh,
God.
All of those, huddled
yeah.
together. Those are spiderlings, guys.
That is.
There's probably about a couple hundred in here. And they're all spread throughout the cork bark. Yeah, and that's just from one sack, and she's getting fat again. So I'm hoping she'll drop another sack.
Nice, but that's a good example for people that it doesn't necessarily, the enclosure doesn't have to look pretty; it just has to be functional.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Functional. Like I've raised my captive bred hedgehog David Bowie's in there. All 3 sacks I've put the slings in there, had no issues whatsoever. It doesn't look the greatest. I said that in my breeding videos. Like, doesn't matter if it looks good. I'm raising slings in here. The efficiency is what matters. One tip for you guys: if you ever do get a wild caught female, she does drop a sack, and you want to keep the eggs, what I recommend is something like I did with the Dolomides. If you don't want slings getting everywhere, drill a hole on top, put a little bit of sponge in it. Then you could just pop the sponge off, whack in a bunch of fruit flies, and Bob's your uncle.
Yep.
I don't have slings going everywhere. It's
and
hundreds of slings
like that for a lot of things actually. Like people use it for things like that. Feeding holes for like mantis, for daemons, for anything kind of thing, especially for efficiency. Just a little hole. Just get your cheap scouring sponges, cut them up, stick it in there.
Like I have so many fruit fly cultures. I just reuse. I wash the sponge out, get all the gunk off it, bung them in there. It's the perfect size because it's not too small that the fruit flies can't get in. It's not too big that if anything bolted and tried to get out the hole, can't get out.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. So, Aaron asked about the Atlas moths. How long does it take from caterpillar to the adult to passing?
Off the top of my head, from hatching to adult, I believe it's 8 to 12 months, I believe. Adults live for about 2 weeks at max, typically around 5 to 10-ish days, if that. Like I had a female, she hatched, only lasted 3 days. It really just depends. Like with the caterpillars, they have exponential growth really, really quick. They'll go from L1 to L3 in probably 4 to 8 weeks, depending on maybe the sex. Then the pupation, that's the longest part of the whole process, is the pupation. I believe with Atlas moths it's 12-ish weeks. I'm not too knowledgeable on the Leptera. This is my first time keeping them, so not too knowledgeable on that. But yeah, so if you guys are looking to get one of these guys, cocoons are readily available. Typically when they sell them, they're ready to hatch within a few days. The way you can tell they're ready to hatch is how dark they get. So when they first pupate, they're typically a brownish color, and as they get ready to hatch and mature, they turn really dark blackish brown. And then with the Atlas moths, if you are looking to get sex, or found out through a couple of videos of research and stuff like that, the way to sex them is through the size. The males are male pupa are tiny in comparison to females, but if you can't tell the size difference, have a look at the antennae on the pupa. I'll actually see if I can get my female pupa right now that hasn't emerged yet. Show you guys. Moth 101.
Sorry,
the slider out. So just very gently, here is a female chrysalis or cocoon. Right here you can tell she's quite good sized. Males are about maybe 3/4 of this size. She's still a bit away from hatching. I'd say maybe 3 to 4 days and she'll be ready. But you can tell how dark she's getting. Usually she'd be like a light brown when they first pupate, And if you guys can see just there where I'm pointing my finger, those are their antennae. And with the males, they'll have a really, really large antennae on the head. Did I keep the male cocoon? I don't know. I'll have a look. Oh Jesus, I'm dropping stuff. But yeah, so this is a good example as well. So this was the male's cocoon. This is the female's cocoon. Side by side, pretty good size difference. I didn't keep the male chrysalis. Unfortunately, I can show you the difference. But yeah, so with the females, they have the short antennae. They're really, really big. And yeah, so that's pretty much how you can tell the difference if you guys are wanting to get sexes of pupa. But yeah, really, really fun to keep. Just bear in mind they are very flappy.
Yep. Yep.
And one thing to note as well, if you want to get photos of them, do it the day they emerge or the day after, because once they start flapping their wings, they're going to tear them up and they don't look great anymore.
Sometimes even the next day after emerging, they're
literally
tatty.
like my male. Did you guys see? Did you see my TikTok that I made of the male?
I may have done. I can't remember. I've seen some of the stuff you've done with the Atlas.
Yeah, like that was the day after he emerged, and literally when I got home from work, he already battered his wings up. So be quick on the photography. You guys wanted to take photos of them.
Apparently, Terry's mad at me. It's probably so because of all the stick insects I can leave you later. Gave all the bud wings that I took with me to the commentary. I came to Leah at the end of the day.
She's got an army of budwings now.
So I went home with an army of budwing stick insects.
I'm gonna have an army of these caterpillars at this point because God, they can lay like 200 eggs per female.
Yeah, you put food in all sorts of right. Yeah, that's what they do to me. That's why I'm phasing them out.
Freedom!
Literally. I mean, yeah. I've still got hundreds of nymphs in there, and it's like,
it's like the confetti, isn't it? Like,
literally, it's like they're one of the. They are. Well, it's pretty much them. That's the reason that I'm like, you know what, I'm done with that for a while. I'm not saying never have. I'm probably going to keep my leaf insects. I've got 2 species of those at the moment. I'm probably going to keep those, and that's it for like food plant eaters for now. Kind of thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I get that.
Just yeah. Maybe until I've got my own place, with, a place where that has a garden that I can stick with.
Yeah, just stick them all in the summer, put a big mesh over them, and just leave them be.
That's it. And I was like, 8 to 10 was the camera. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick the growth rate is. They can go from a freshly hatched to practically molting to L2 in like 4-ish weeks, if that. They just eat and eat and eat.
Oh, absolutely do. Jerimie is aware of one of my pickups. So I gave him a sneak peek before we started.
God, I'm so jealous.
So that video, I hope it'll be my Wednesday video. Be show footage and hopefully pickups. I filmed the pickups for it, so hopefully that will be in there. And it's it's over there at the moment. It's I still can't believe I got one. I still can't believe that.
I can't believe you have one. I can't believe Rad had so many though.
Oh my! He had loads of slings. He had loads of slings of them as well.
Oh, you know what? That might have to be a pickup at Brighton. I don't know. Might have to be. If there are a nice variety of true spiders, probably will have to grab one of those.
I mean, I'm tempted to get a sling as well, just to rear up kind of thing, because like the slings are, they're not going to find them that price. They're probably not going to go down from that price for a while. Sort of thing.
100%. Especially, oh god, guys, just watch the video. Watch the video. You need to. Jealous.
So, I mean, it'll be fine until I can't see it again. The thing.
Yeah, that's the downside. But
That's
I
the
mean,
only
I work
downside
with a
of it,
lot of
but
stuff like that as well, so I know
that's
the
it.
feeling.
I mean, loads of tubs of dirt. And I've kept loads of tubs of dirt over the years with millipedes.
We breed beetles and we breed millipedes and stuff. We got
You
tubs of
deal with
dirt. We
you
used to.
deal with pet tubs of dirt.
It's like it's a regular thing.
Yeah, well, that's it. With beetles and millipedes, especially the beetles, that's where you end up with so many because I've got the tub of dirt for 2 years before I see a beetle. I might as well get some
Yeah,
more
it's
beetles.
like I have like a whole drawer under my bed where it's just grubs, 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 grubs. Oh, breeding tub, grubs.
That's it. And then, eventually, like, I've got this. That's where, if you keep beetles, just keep the regular sun beetle because they are, again, underrated. One of the best beetles.
Very
'Cause
underrated.
they're
They're literally
very
sold as a feeder. Like, guys, you can get a group of 10, like £3 at a feeder shop, at a reptile shop.
just don't keep them on what they kept on because the substrate they kept on is rubbish.
It's literally soil, just garden soil. Like, guys, do a nice substrate mix. If you're feeling fancy, stick some flake soil in, but leaf mulch, organic topsoil, mix that together with rotten white wood, and you'll have one of the most beautiful beetles that's super underrated. Super underrated.
Do a nice display. Like, I need to. I'll see you, Greg.
Take care, Greg.
Let's sort of refresh it. I keep trying to refresh it because I've destroyed the background of it. But at my work, I've got a 4x2x2 converted aquarium essentially.
Ooh.
That's just Pacnoda, Marginatus peregrine, another common sun beetle, Teledinopus, AUT, millipedes, and Acatina felica, all mixed together. There's ice ponds in there as well. Crickets have migrated in there and stuff.
Of course they have.
But there's probably a good 200 or so sun beetles. And so
you'll never run out of them.
They're just how it's got, that's what's nice about them. It's got to the point where they're a rolling colony. You can dig in the substrate and there's L1 grubs, there's L3 grubs, there's cocoons, there's L's all at the same time. So there's always some in there, and they're active. And so
they're very surface active, and they're a great thing for kids if you want to get them into the idea of metamorphosis. And apart from butterflies, it's a great idea to you can have from an L1 grub to an adult beetle and show all the different life stages and stuff like that through a tub of feeders.
Yep, that's it for very very cheap. And if you do, and I swear one thing I found, actually I don't know why I thought about it. I decided because I've got like branches in there for them to climb off if they want to, just to stick food on branches for one time, and I made them even more active.
Yeah, because they climb up and they look for the food. And
they would rather eat food. They'll rather eat the food on the branches than they will on the ground.
It's probably because in the wild, in captivity, we have beetles that feed on jellies and fruits and stuff like that. In the wild, they wouldn't have access to that. They would be more feeding on tree sap. And obviously, tree sap is not going to be at the bottom. It's probably going to be up against the middle or the top, where like a large mammal or something like that scratch the tree, damage the tree, and the sap's coming out. They fly on over and get the food. So to have suspended food probably triggers them to go and look for the food.
That's it. And it's something that sometimes, you don't think about and then do and go, oh, actually, that makes sense. Other thing makes total sense.
Yeah, it does make sense why they want to eat more. And it's like, okay.
And the fact, another name for them is flower beard because they love eating flowers.
Yeah. They chew up everything, the whole thing.
One of the nice things do every year here is when the trees are in blossom, beginning of spring is like, right, go around chopping it all down, sticking all the invert tanks. Makes it really pretty.
Mom, this guy's cutting all the flowers down. Doing it for good reason.
Sort of thing. But I absolutely love it, and there's some real good nutrition in there that you don't give them every day. And stuff from it.
Again, another natural treat.
No worries, Amy. Good luck. Hope he's all right. So, but yeah, they're fantastic one. That again, easy to keep. Again, so underrated because everyone in the beetle hobby says, "Oh, they're just sun beetles."
Feeders. Like, come on, they're great. They look great.
or people just they seem to then brush off the whole Pacnoda genus because they just think there's just the one Pacnoda, and it's
I
like,
want to keep more Pacnoda. I
oh,
love those full green ones and the black and yellow
Priscilla.
ones. Oh,
Priscilla,
yes.
lovely.
They are stunning.
Yeah, I've got Priscilla. I keep Priscilla.
Oh, dude. I need to get some off you eventually.
I need to get some more. Yeah, they like a bit more wood, I find, than Marginata. But like, yeah, even Marginata, they're nice, and they're just literally a brown bill with a little bit of yellow around the edge.
Yeah, just stunning.
I've had Thoracica in the past.
Ooh.
I know the Thoracica. They were difficult because they don't lay many eggs.
Ah, yeah.
They're really not. Yeah, and not they didn't lay many at all. And they cost me a fair bit because I had them especially brought like basically imported from Germany for a shop.
Ah.
It pretty much cost me like 20 quid per beetle, sort of thing.
Whoa.
I was like,
Like, guys, appreciate the feeder Pacnodas. Like, look, people are spending £20 on a Pacnoda. You can spend £3 and get 10 large larvae. Like, you don't even have to grow them up. They're already big.
They're already L3 size, so you just stick them in there. So soon start cocooning, and you'll have
literally like a couple of weeks. You'll probably have cocoons.
That's it. So
one Pacnoda I really like to keep those is Silka. Is Silka?
I've got those. Yeah, I got those.
How are those doing? I saw you got them. How are they doing?
I've got larvae of those. Probably again, I will probably get more in because I got my ones from Insect Farm. So I'm pretty sure Curtis breeds them as well. So I'll probably get some larvae from Curtis at some point just to add the numbers in and add in different genetics in and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, they're beautiful. They haven't been even in the UK hobby for all that long, really.
No, they haven't. They've only been I think a couple years.
Something like that, yeah. Cause I got my first ones last year at the Kettering show.
Nice.
But yeah, I think they were like what, £25 for 10 like L1 larvae.
I need to start picking up larvae rather than adult beetles, which I have been doing. I
mean, that's fair. You got it. Yeah, larvae's always cheaper than adult beetles.
Always cheaper.
But sometimes you want that instant gratification of getting something that looks nice straight away.
You do want to always have a guaranteed pair.
That's it. That's when it comes to beetle larvae, like some of the larger beetles where I've like bought
like I've spent 2 years raising you now. I've only
I don't know what the hell sort of thing. Or the worst thing, I had a Megasoma Action pair.
Oh no way!
50
larvae?
Yeah, £50 pair larvae. Pay £50 for a pair larvae. Like they emerge at different times to each other.
Oh no! That's the worst part. That's the worst part. Like not timing the emergence properly. It's just especially for something like a Megasoma. Like they take ages.
Yeah, I got a decent sized larvae, and I've been rearing them for over 2 years, and then it's like
no, that's the worst part.
Trials and tribulations.
I have mad respect to people who constantly breed those larger species. I have really mad respect for them. Seriously, the amount of work and effort they put in.
It's basically military operator. I don't know if you've ever come across the pet factory in Germany.
No.
So they used to come over. They only used to do the IHS shows when they was at Doncaster, and obviously all the stuff.
Pre-government rubbish.
Pre-political things that we're not going to go into. I mean, if you look on their beetle lists, they're probably one of the largest in Europe that I know of. They're one of the largest invert dealers in Europe that I know of because they deal with something like over 3,000 species, something like that. I think Martin was saying at one point. He's written books on stuff. Like he's written he's got his own book on breeding vampire crabs and keeping vampire crabs because they were one of the first to bring them over into Europe and breed them and stuff. But they do a lot of beetles and a lot of big beetles and to the point that they pretty much constantly have major calcosomas, major stag beetles, and various other rhino beetles and stuff. And that was where I got the Thoracica from.
The what? Sorry.
It's like a military operation. He has staff just to deal with beetles.
Oh god, that's the dream, man. I just be like, I could just have my own little facility. Be like, you guys are on beetles today. You guys are on the roaches.
Like, yeah, he's. I don't know if he sends to the UK anymore, but like his stuff's expensive. But it was like, damn, the quality.
But the price
high.
reflects like the effort put in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was the first person I saw bring coconut crabs into the UK.
I still find those hilarious. That's one thing I should have mentioned in the very first time. Like popping over to Tony's table and seeing those 5 coconut crabs sitting, I was like, you can buy these?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone get them because he's not going to have them.
You need a 6-foot room, like 8 feet of substrate. Just
like, no.
Don't even think like small scale zoos could keep them, let alone a
No,
general hobbyist.
I know of one zoo that they got and it didn't last very long. It's quite difficult to try and replicate what they need to eat. That's the thing. And they get the ones that you do sometimes see for sale are they're big crabs, but they're very small. They've got a lot of growing to do. They get like the size of bin lids.
It's ridiculous. Like I couldn't believe it. Like just looking at this thing, like what? I've seen these things massive on the documentaries, and now I see one in the flesh. I'm like, this is a thing.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, they bring it. Stuff like that over. Like, I sometimes look at this going like, oh, I wish I could get that. Because it's just like,
oh man, like one day, like I'm going to get an import license. That's the goal. Guys, in the next couple of years, I'm going to get import licenses and I'm going to start importing stuff.
Here. I mean, they're not all that expensive, I don't think. Like the import licenses.
The European one isn't expensive, a few £100, if that. Maybe I think it's under £1,000-ish. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked into it too much, but I would love to like import stuff from Asia and Africa and stuff like that. Like, stuff I can bring.
I thought about it years ago. Now I was like, I don't know who to trust, and like getting stuff from.
That's the thing. That's the main thing. I just don't know who to trust.
You sometimes hear some, certain horror stories from, not necessarily through like invert people, but even like people,
reptiles,
reptiles and stuff.
Yeah,
where it's not what they wanted or whatever what they'd actually asked for. Sometimes you just get, you get sent just something random because it's just we found this, so we sent it to you. Remember Martin Goss once? I think it was maybe like a gym from Japan or somewhere in East Asia, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you like weird things," so they put on this massive Scutagera.
Oh my god!
And they just had this. I was like, "That's like a Scolopendra sized Scutagera."
So that thing just there, like, okay, I have this now.
That's a good job I like centipedes because bloody hell, this thing's huge and quick.
What the hell am I supposed to do with this?
So I started taking it around to the show just to display because it was like, oh my god, that's awesome. It's like, yeah.
Oh, but I can't lie, like having random stuff coming in imports is a good thing. Like if it wasn't for Lee getting those Barolesti Saristoi, oh god, they are amazing. Do I get one down? You know what? Screw it, I'm gonna get one down. I'm gonna get one of the females down. This is by far like top species for true spiders for me, and I didn't even know they existed. Shout out to Frank Soma for identifying it. 1 second, I need to climb up on my shelf. Yeah, I'm showing the white one. Oh. There we go. So this is a very rare species apparently, according to Frank, and it is Barolestes Saristoi.
Focusing.
So I've got 2 of these at the moment. I've got this pure white one, and I've got a more greenish lichen mimic, but this is definitely not doing it justice. Like the patterning on the legs, and just look at that. Like seeing that in the wild, probably on the front, just looks like a piece of lichen. The best mimicking spider I've ever seen in person. And I'm probably the only one in the UK that has these right now.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
They are amazing. And they're both females. So hopefully one of them drops a sack. If not
that'd
both.
be nice. That'd be nice. Or hopefully
Yeah, because
maybe
Baroness Saristoi, like even in the general hobby, are very seldom seen. So to have the opportunity to work with these, it's just a dream.
They are amazing. Yeah,
I didn't even ask for the price. When Lee said I got 2 of these things, I'm like, give it to me.
Yes, please.
Yes. It's straight yes. It's like when I saw them, I was like, whoa, like no way this thing is here right now. Like I still can't believe I have them, seeing them every night crawling out from the back. It's like there's a Barolestes. Like you see Barolestes cicatatus, and you're like, oh, those are cool, they're big. Then you see these things, like these are real. Like this is a Barolestes. Like whoa.
Yeah, I love that feeling when you got something, you're just like, I can't believe I got this.
It's like I can't believe I own these right now. It's like same. I still can't. Let me see if I can show her off a little bit. Like I still can't believe I've captive bred Holconia insignis.
Okay. Look at that.
The glare. But yes, guys, this is a breeding tub, so it's not amazing, but it does the job clearly.
It doesn't, it's not for display. It does what,
It does what it did. She's comfortable enough to drop the sack.
And that's the main thing.
That's what I meant by over here, where she tore it a little bit. She hasn't opened it, but she tore it a little bit. You can see the yellow. Those are little nymphs crawling around in there.
But, I use those Bra Plus tubs for a lot of things.
They're amazing. If you guys want to get into breeding, go for the Bra Plus cubes. They are fantastic, very versatile.
Yes.
Fossorial, arboreal, terrestrial, anything. You can keep them in anything.
And you can add as much or as little ventilation as you feel you need.
Yes.
Easy to add ventilation to. You can get, average price for one of those is like £2. So
yeah, £2.50, £2, if that.
I think I bought one time just through Amazon, like a big bunch of like 24 tubs, and it cost me like £20. I don't think.
If you want to breed, the Bra Plus tubs are the way to go.
And I've got them dotted around all over the place. I've got, I've even got the smaller ones actually, because my mate Adam got, and then he's given them to me. So I've got the carnivorous snails in actually, so 3-litre ones or whatever. And so, but basically exactly the same, just shorter, just a little bit shorter. And so
it's like I use the. These are my favorite for the terrestrial stuff. So this is one of my female.
But
Jerianas.
Hey, Joff.
Perfect.
They were,
How's it going, Joff? You all right?
As a thing, it's all well and good, using, nice glass or acrylic enclosures, but really they are for display pieces, sort of thing.
Yes.
And when you're looking at, trying to breed stuff, often, as in all the big breeders use plastic tubs all the time.
Yep. And with me, like, I didn't have to with, for example, like this one, it's got a little bit of substrate. Well, Holconia, they're arboreal spiders, so they don't need a lot of substrate. I didn't have to put the decorative rocks. I don't know if you can see them in now. I put decorative rocks, and I put there's like deserty moss in there for them. For my Peloctinus, like same thing. I put the breeding tub for this, the female that had the egg sac. Like I put moss in there and leaf litter, water dish, all this kind of stuff. And you see the breeding tubs, like I could just chuck a bit of substrate, stick a cork, like not even a cork bark, but like this kind of stuff. I could just use this. But for me, I try to make the tubs look as natural as possible, simply for my aesthetic, and it benefits the spider. Like, it doesn't look the greatest, but clearly this Holconia felt comfortable enough to drop the sack and raise it and not eat it. Say with the Peloctinus, she laid the sack, she didn't eat it. Like that's the common thing with the true spiders, is that they'll eat the sacks. It's just a common thing. They get disturbed, they'll eat it. Same with tarantulas. They
Yeah.
feel comfortable enough in there. And yeah, it's cost efficient, save space. And then obviously when I'm not breeding them, I want to live them out their lives, I'll make display enclosures for them, whether it's glass or acrylic. Or even one of these you can make into a display enclosure.
You
like
can
I
make
have
it
done.
into a display enclosure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, yeah, I'm a big fan of them. Like I say, I've got various. Most of my beetles are in them. You know, especially my smaller beetles. Stuff and to raise
I've
up
bred
larvae.
stag beetles in these. I bred the Homoderus gladiator in these.
Yeah, with my Pecnodotus squilca in them. Curricula africana. I bred Masala Troopers, Gideon Sumatrensis in them.
Yeah.
Actually, they work. They
That's
work.
the thing, they do work.
So that's, and again for me being up kind of a first floor flat as well, it's sort of like they don't weigh that much.
They are very lightweight. It's just the perfect thing. Like I don't even think American breeders have this kind of tubs, do they? They don't have the bra
I don't know if they're. No,
I've never seen anyone have one of these bra
I think it's a
tubs.
Swedish company, isn't it? Is it a Swedish company, Braplast?
Not sure.
So, but yeah, no, yeah. Got,
it's like
I've got
we're
some
lucky to have these.
So although lately I've been going over to I've been getting tubs from Tesco for my isopods.
Ooh.
So,
well, like clip ones or?
No. These are they're like shoebox style ones.
Oh, because I've been looking to get some like newer tubs because I'm renovating my garage soon, so putting all the animals in there. Once I get racking shelving, I want to have like slotted areas. So like beetle breeding will be at the bottom, then roaches and isopods will be at the top. Oh, those are great.
£7 for free.
What? Oh, I'm going to Tesco on Wednesday.
And ventilation.
They all like, come on, guys! Like that's the perfect isopod tub right there.
This is what I've got Microbaris in.
Oh God, I see those. I need to start buying. But when I get the racking done, like they're gonna go in there. All my isopods.
Yeah, I've got
probably my terrestrial roaches too.
I've got my rubber duckies, my panicines, and lemon blues are in the. Actually, well, I've got 2 panicine colonies. One colony's in these. The one's in basically a lunchbox. Nice. Then I've got my Nebo scorpions in these as well because it works really well for those. Of which, and I'm pretty sure I've got a pair of those, so hopefully I can get those paired up. Yeah, and these work perfectly for things like that because especially if you want stuff that you don't want it. I wouldn't put anything that is strong in them because
like a larger tarantula or a scorpion or something like that.
They will just lift the lid off. Honestly, like it is got clip lids kind of thing, but they're not the strongest.
They're not tight. Yeah, they're not proper locking lids.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like the fact that you got some ventilation holes at the top there.
Oh yeah, those are great.
On this particular one, I need to make them a little bit wider on this one, but most of the time, you got a few nice size holes.
Yeah, because you can get the the Spider Shop hole poker. You can just put it in, twist it, make it a little bit bigger. I've got one. Wait,
I've had this year. Had it years. It's still sharp. Done lots of hole boring.
Great piece of kit, guys. If you don't have one of these and you keep a lot of inverts, you want to make holes, get one of these.
But yeah, the big clips on and stuff. But it is easy to
Spider Shop affiliation link. Phil's makes you pay more. Mine is great.
But no, I'm a big fan of these since I first got them because they're decent size for stuff. They're stackable as well, and they slot in nicely in things.
Yeah, that's going to be perfect for my racking. Like that, literally, you've found a tub for me.
Okay, doesn't necessarily look pretty,
But for breeding purposes,
it
again,
really does stuff.
they're fantastic.
Really does stuff for vice versa. You know, probably even small millipedes you could easily breed in that as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll probably put my my dragons, pink dragons.
I'd probably add more ventilation for pink dragons,
Hmm.
just because of the cyanide.
That I still find it so funny that something so tiny could be so toxic.
That's it. But yeah, 3 of these for £7. You know,
Bargain, absolute bargain.
And stuff. Literally got those today. That's why I was like, oh yeah, I need some more of those. Cool. Grab those.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pop down to my Tesco see if I can find them.
So, and I say, yeah, prevented. You know, already got ventilation in for you.
Oh, perfect. They're actually perfect.
So, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Solder iron works as well. Yeah, you know, any of those things, anything to make holes.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
It makes the hole, it does the job.
That's it. But you know, so so they're £7 for 3 tubs. So
Ridiculous.
and you don't have to look for the list because it's all sellotaped on and stuff. So you don't have to be like, oh,
why are you buying all of these tubs? Don't worry about it. I collect shoes.
That's it. Hey, Steve. Hurries.
All right, Steve.
Oh. So, is there anyone else have any questions for Jerimie before?
Fire any questions at me, guys.
We can go for sort of 2 hours.
Already? Oh my god!
Yeah, it's gone 10 already, and I do have work in the morning. I'm sure you've got work as well.
Yes. Well, it's been really good jumping on.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's really nice and refreshing being on a stream again. I haven't done so in a while.
It certainly hasn't felt like 2 hours.
It has not, honestly. It does. It's like I feel like, God, it's 2 hours. It's gone like that. But then again, it's what I love about the hobby. We could talk.
Let's get personal. Lee, you're married. You can't be such as
Well, if you have to ask, I've just turned 21, so I'm a youngin.
But I'm doing, you know, potentially going to be doing big things within the invert world. With doing lots of breeding and stuff, which is fantastic.
I started the hobby when I was 18. And here I am now at 21 with a lot of breedings under my belt, under my belt. So, and hopefully many more.
Oh, would you like to discover the Titan beetle larvae? I mean, that's like a dream of most beetle people in some ways.
You know, just digging up the ground and seeing a giant Goliathus in the wild, like, oh my god, that's the dream.
I mean, just
even going to the Philippines, because I've got a lot of cool beetles in the Philippines. Like Palauan's got a native Allotopa species, golden stag beetles. Like they light trap them over there. Like, God, I don't want to do that. Like that's a goal, like to find native stuff.
I've got a friend in Jakarta.
Ooh.
And like some of the things he sees, he's from Jakarta, so he came over he studied in the UK for a bit of Banger, and made friends with a lot of zookeepers and stuff, and then he's back in Jakarta now, and like, you know, he just goes for a walk, and he's like they're just crushing. Well, he's not, but all the people are just stepping on vampire crabs because they're everywhere. They just get on these feet, all these vampire crabs.
Like we're paying for those. And you're stepping on them.
They're just like essentially like a pest species out there because they're just cover the roads.
It's like with the like the heterometrists in like Vietnam and stuff. Like they're catching them and eating them. Like we're paying to keep these as pets. And they're like, why are you eating the food? Why are you looking after the food? You're supposed to eat it. Like no, with the pets.
Literally.
Like you just see these people in Vietnam and Thailand munching on Syropagopus lividus.
I don't get that people keep them, and they're like, I don't know, they're tasty. No,
what? why would you keep them? Eat them? Like, no, we keep them as pets.
So, but yeah, some of the stuff you see, when he posts up photos, just the reptiles, the amphibians there, and the invertebrates,
so
like
jealous.
just around Java and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, they're like
To see that in the wild be insane.
And I mean, I don't think he has it anymore because he did stuff in like a little centre, and basically in someone's house. Thing like,
it's like we don't need a fancy facility. You have stuff in your back garden. We'll just post stuff here.
So it was like a little educational facility for people and stuff where
that's awesome.
So, and he actually hired someone who used to basically go out and catch things to for export and stuff to be like a conservationist and stuff because you're the best person that know where all these animals are and stuff. It was like absolutely amazing seeing the stuff out there. So, everyone's saying what tubs they've been buying. Yeah,
I haven't been buying many tubs recently, but I have been buying a bunch of sling tubs because
you got a lot of slings.
You guys seen today? I've got like 500 Dolomides and 200 Peloctonus and soon probably about 100 Holconias. Like, it'll be fun rehousing. But the great thing about true spiders is you don't necessarily have to separate them straight away. Like with tarantulas, you guys separate them pretty much after they molt. But with the true spiders, as you saw with the Peloctonus, I showed you guys, they have a communal web and they'll live together for a while, and then as they get bigger, they'll disperse. So I have a little while. Before I have to probably have to fill my entire floor, not with carpet, but with sling pots. But yeah, it's just that's the great thing about breeding true spiders, that you can keep them together for quite some time. Like the David Bows, I didn't start separating them out till about 3-4 molts in. Probably will do the same with the Peloctonus. Well, I will be bringing some, but yeah, will be mostly. Wait, let me see if I can show you the other Dolomides tub really quick. So, like, you saw that one. You can also keep them in smaller tubs like this. Don't know if you can see some of the slings on the bottom there, just here.
Oh yeah,
that white stuff. That's not sand. Those are slings I've climbed out of the egg sac, and there's still plenty more in there. So that's going to be fun when those all start emerging. Another couple hundred to feed. But then again, look, 32-ounce jelly cup, little cup in the top. They'll be able to live in here for a couple months. Then I can chuck them into a bigger tub, keep them there a little longer, and then start separating them out. So the great thing about true spiders, you can keep them in a small area for quite a good amount of time.
Yeah. Brilliant. They say about Titanus giganticus. So they're like the largest beetle in the world.
What were they again?
The Titan. So they're in South America, aren't they? They're like
like Hercules and stuff like that.
No. So Hercules is sometimes is slightly long, but Titan beetle is like a good 7-inch long beetle.
Let me have a look. I'm not aware of this one.
They're huge things, and
oh my god! What these like the longhorns? Are these?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
god!
They're absolutely.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they're monster beetle.
Okay, that is cool. Yeah, I'd love to find one of these.
I think it's good. That larvae really haven't been seen. On the thing.
I'm not surprised. They're probably buried a couple feet underground.
Yeah,
that's why you don't see. That's why you don't really see larvae of our native stags, because like the lucanus, they bury 3-4 feet deep in the ground. Let alone these things.
I've seen one adult male native actual stag beetle.
Oh, I have not seen one yet. Where I live in Hertfordshire is just.
I wish I could say I found it. I didn't find it. Coming back basically from a night out at a conference, and the curator of reptiles at Chester Zoo We was all going was with him, and we all parked up in the Sainsbury's car park. That was the car park for our hotel, and he suddenly disappeared off into the darkness, and then came back with this massive male stag beetle
Oh my god.
that he found in the car park of Sainsbury's.
Typical, isn't it? It's like of all places to find one.
And it was like just walking back to our Premier Inn.
Like, guys, look at this.
We're like, what are you doing with that, Gerardo? What are you doing? Do that? I'm going to show my family. Like, can't
I'm
keep
going
that.
to find. Look at this.
Well,
Are you proud of me, Mom? Look what I found.
to find it in a supermarket car park, like of all places to find.
You
Like
can
one
look
of
for
our
all the
rarest
natural
speakers.
reserves you want. No, just go to your Tesco's parking lot. You'll
Just go-
find them there.
Just find a massive stag beetle. Like, what the hell?
I wish I was that lucky. I don't even think we have stag beetles where I live, to be honest.
Get the lesser ones here. Do see lesser stag beetles, but that's it. So if I see he's going to make snake warballs out of the tubs he's bought today, cover them in foam, tile grout, look like rock, with a drain and also top up. That's a nice project.
That's
Nice.
cool. That would be really cool.
Scott's asked, are you at uni?
I'm not. I did not go to uni. Now that's just a personal choice for me because I hate studying. I really don't like studying. Plus, if I want originally going to do zoology along with some friends of mine. They're not really too big into it, and they were like proper keen on wanting to do it. So I am kind of glad I didn't go to uni, as again, uni is not for everyone.
Yeah.
So I just know that if I went to uni, I'd probably not enjoy it. But yeah, so just at the moment, all the knowledge is just stuff that I've done research on. No, there's no university degrees up here. I have a college degree in animal management, but other than that, everything is self-taught pretty much.
It's the same with me. Exactly the same with me. I went to college, I scraped passing college.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
Fast.
Literally scraped passing animal management college. Did not go to uni, and I'm a head zookeeper.
Yeah, there you go. It's like I've got
academia is one thing, but practical knowledge and building up that knowledge of what
is always the best.
Something else. So, there's a lot of things I don't know when it comes to things, but I've learned a hell of a lot over the years of just doing stuff and trying things out and trial and error of things, finding something that I'm passionate with, and asking then other people that are passionate about that thing, and then going, and eventually it trickles into your brain and you just remember it and stuff.
Yeah, it's like I always tell to my friend, like, you might have seen him in a couple of videos. His name's Ryan. He's always, I'd say, embarrassed to say scientific names because he can't really pronounce them. And I say to him, like, when I started, I didn't even know any scientific names at all. When I was looking at tarantulas, I'd go like Brazilian black, Mexican red knee, stuff like that. Like, It's only after buying the species, watching videos, and, learning to pick up the cues on how to pronounce the stuff. Of course, I know Latin is a dead language, so pronunciation isn't the main thing. But whether you use it, Greek is a dead language. That guys, do not worry about pronunciations. It does not matter.
And even if they weren't dead languages, at the end of the day, in English, we all pronounce things differently.
Exactly. Come on, guys! Like, look at the UK. Like all the different accents we have for the one same language.
Depending on where you are in the UK, you can say bath or bath. I say bath, but other people say bath.
Grass or gas.
Exactly, same word, but we say it differently to each other. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Then again, just practicing, learning them eventually. Like now, pretty much majority of stuff I refer to as a scientific name. I barely use common names anymore because they just common names confuse me more nowadays than they did a couple years ago. And I've only been in the hobby for 3 years. I've only been in the hobby for, and within those years, I've picked up so much knowledge, and it's all about the experience of keeping the animals and stuff like that. You make mistakes. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've lost stuff that could have been avoided if I knew that at the time. I've kept stuff that back then it worked, but I could have done a whole lot differently and would have been much better for the animals. Like, I know people say you don't keep millipedes on cocoa fiber. What did I do when I first got my millipedes? I put them on cocoa fiber. It happened. I was a beginner. I didn't know. And, doing my research and having people tell me do not keep them on cocoa fiber Haven't done so since. And it's stuff like that. You pick it up, you learn it.
You learn by your mistakes and stuff.
Exactly.
When it comes to millipedes on cocoa, what doesn't help with that is the fact that almost every seller, when they sell millipedes, put them on cocoa fiber when you buy them.
Stick them on cocoa fiber, like
because it's it's a cheap substrate that they all use and stuff. And you're like, sort of things. Like when I got my card effects, they were stuck on cocoa fiber. I was like, they're not going to be on cocoa fiber because they'll do them no good. They're coming out of that.
Literally, like I said it on my video, my pickups video from Bedford. As soon as I got home, I recorded that pickups video. I didn't start recording. I chucked them out of the cocoa fiber and put my Detrivore mix in there.
That's it. It's like off they come.
Like, I did not want them eating any of it.
Hey, but that's it. When it comes to those just right things like that, they're just
Now he's starting to say scientific names now, and he's asking me, "Oh, can you look up for this certain species?" And I know what he's talking about now.
Went to a conference a couple of years ago, and it was at Whipsnade actually, and we had the Bedfordshire Natural History Society come along to it. If you get a chance to go to your local Natural History Society, go to it because there's some great entomologists in those societies and stuff that will tell you a hell of a lot of things that you never knew about before. Like they'll just look at a hoverfly and go, "That's da 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 da." You're like, "What?" I tried to do it.
You can identify that just by looking at it. Yes.
Like a hoverfly identification thing, and then like someone was like, "Yeah, you got to count the individual hairs and stuff." And these guys are just like, "Yeah, I know just by looking at it, it's this species." Like, what the hell? So, and one of my colleagues asked about scientific names, and they're like, and for children and stuff, and he went, "We'll get them to name a dinosaur. They're all scientific names."
There you go. There you go.
Like, pretty much every kid knows Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's a scientific name.
Yeah.
No Stegosaurus, scientific name.
Triceratops, Dilophosaurus.
It's all scientific names.
All scientific names. No one uses dinosaur common names.
Exactly. So, and we went, "Oh yeah, that's a really good idea." I think when people say, it's too difficult to say, we shouldn't use them because it's too difficult. It's like, well, actually, they're really simple. Just haven't heard them.
Just haven't heard them yet. As long as you're referring to the scientific name, then that's all that matters, right? Like if you know what it is, you're not. I'm not saying learning the common names is a bad thing, but when it comes to looking for specific species, especially with like the brackies and stuff like that, like, knowing that scientific name, you know what to look out for. Yeah. No one uses common names.
Giant prickly stick insect. What's that? That could be
like 5 different species. There you go. Yeah, exactly. It's like Asian forest scorpion. Well, there's about 10 of them that come from Asia. Which specific one are you looking at? Blue. Well, now that you can narrow it down to 5.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, and that's where it's great. That's like, the only reason we don't really use scientific names for mammals all that much is because when you say you tend to know which you're talking about just by the common name.
Yeah,
the thing
because like they're all in their own groups anyways. Like you think tiger, like what else looks like a tiger but a tiger?
That's
lion.
It. So. People use gravel and Sicarius enclosures. Yeah,
they use the coloured sands. It looks cool. It's not good for them. Don't do that. Use natural sand, please.
Yeah, now you see pull on like luminous pink sand. You're like, no, think of that.
Sicarius slings, guys. Very simple, natural sand, piece of cork slab. That's all they need. Don't do all this pretty, colourful sands. It does affect them because the dust particles do stick to their exoskeleton and it can affect them. Yep. Because it's unnaturally dyed. Like, don't do it, guys. Just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of dyed substrates anyway. Kind of thing, like.
Nah, never have been.
I mean, so it doesn't have to go, bought a horror themed tank yesterday, so it doesn't have to be naturalistic.
Yeah, but it's like
when it comes to substrate, it's like I don't want anything that's like not all that natural kind of thing. Like it dies.
Natural substrate just looks better. I
Absolutely.
make my own mix of substrate. I do a mix of peat moss and topsoil, and if I use it for anything but tetrivores, I'll add I use this it's right here actually. This from Pets at Home. This leopard gecko terrain substrate. It's great. It's got all different kind of bits in it, excavated clay and gravel and stuff like that. You know, I
Yep.
get a massive bag. I work for the NHS, so you know I get an NHS discount. So you know
Oh,
it's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, get a little bit cheaper than I normally would pay for, and it lasts me ages. So you know, natural stuff. I just think it looks nice. Like I make a lot of my stuff look as natural as possible. But most, like, you know, I've had naturalistic ant terrarium set up for my trapdoors, and I've done bioactives. That I wouldn't call them bioactives myself, but I'm trying to
Life
do
planted.
bioactives. Yeah, planted tanks.
Yeah, life planted.
A bit far away, but you know, I've got my Hedgepola female in a bioactive tank, and my Sumopius amenia female, and my Dolomides. I made a nice terrarium for them with a little water feature.
Nice.
And stuff like that, with a pothos plant growing along. I've seen her sit on the pothos over the water. It's amazing. But yeah, I just like, for me personally, I like to go a little bit more naturalistic and stuff like that. But yeah, just my preference. Don't have to. I'm not. I like obviously with Steve with Transatlantic Enclosures. His stuff looks amazing. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's the master of doing the horror themed sort of stuff.
The king. I'm bow down. I couldn't do that.
I've got one of his enclosures, and it's one of my favourites. And there's nothing special in it. It's just it's a really old male LP in there at the moment.
Oh,
male LP, but it looks fantastic. Very good. Just a big spider in there and stuff.
It looks great, and that's what I love about the hobby too. Is that you can be so diverse with it. If you like naturalistic, you can make naturalistic looking enclosures. If you like simple tubs, substrate a piece of cork, and there you go. If you want to do theme stuff, you can do theme stuff. It's just that's what I love about it. It does reach out to all different kind of niches, and you know they all come together at the end of the day with a true passion for keeping animals and stuff like that. And we should promote that much more.
Absolutely, sure. Absolutely. That seems us. No, I haven't done an Evo white eye video because I don't actually have white eyes. I have the largest Nevos. The
Hysteronicus, right?
No, well, that's what they were sold as, but there's no actual Hysteronicus as far as I'm aware. It's like,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. The species just doesn't exist.
Nothing came up with that. It was Greg that it was like, oh, I don't think they are that. But they were sold as, Hysteronicus, and then it was like looked in was like, is that Hyriarch or something? It's something else.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, they're like Nevos are like that sort of size Nevo. They're big ass Nevos,
really big.
Whereas it seems like a lot of the Nevos are tiny.
Yeah, they're like really dwarf.
So, I mean, part of me wouldn't be surprised if at some point they found out not to be Nevos. I don't think because
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, just by judging by the size. They're probably a separate species on their own.
That's it. It might be something else completely.
I'm not complaining. I can always appreciate like knowing exactly what they are. Which is why I never complain about a genus refer. It's like finally with the Grammostola, what was it? The Rosea. What was the Porteri? Finally, Porteri actually Rosea, which come on, you could kind of guess that they were the same.
Now considered, junior synonym, so you can still sort of use it, but they are all Rosea.
They're all Rosea at the end of the day, which is great stuff, which is really good because now we know that there are two different color forms. We can ensure that those color forms stay pure and not mix them, which people weren't originally doing anyways, but with the chance of someone mislabeling something, nice, Steve. For me personally, I'm a theatre HCA, so I'm a healthcare assistant in the operating theatres. So see a lot of lot of stuff at work. Yeah, I'm not outside the operating theatre. I'm inside there supporting
Oh
the
wow,
team.
damn! You see a lot of things that will make a lot of people queasy, I guess.
Yes, every day. But I don't complain. It's not a profession I was getting into, but for now, it's good money
Hats off
and
to you for doing stuff like this. Much
yeah,
needed. Where we
help
would
out
be.
where I can.
We definitely need the NHS. That's often, often it seems also for
It's a
yeah.
tough job. It's not easy, but practically most of my family are in the NHS, so I guess I'm just following along for now.
I mean, well, long term, what sort of career would you like to go into?
Well, hopefully setting up this whole animal stuff. Like that's the main goal, like starting off like that's what Bedford was for me, was like whether or not I could actually make this work, breeding wise and with the channel. And I do a couple educational party things with a friend of mine. At the moment I can't really do it because obviously I'm busy with work, so I loan my animals out to her and she goes off and shows off the inverts and stuff like that. But I'm hoping all three merge together, and never know what will happen if it take off or not. With me specializing in the miscellaneous stuff, there is a definite gap in the market for a
That's definitely
consistent breeder. So
yes,
hopefully, what I'm hoping is I can squeeze into that gap and secure myself as the true spider guy in the UK. Because as much as you love tarantulas, a lot of people do tarantulas, and a lot of people do millipedes, a lot of people do ants. Like they have all their own niches, but no one really works with true spiders. So hopefully that will be me. I'll be the true spider guy in the UK. Fingers crossed, and that's the main goal for me. And in the future, as I said earlier in the stream, hopefully have my own facility with displays, and I can show like how breeding actually works and the facilities and stuff like that, and have display enclosures and everything. Just I've got a whole plan-ish thing, but I'm kind of just winging it. I mean, look at me right now. I mean, I'm working in the NHS in operating theatres. Who knows where I'll be in a couple of years?
I mean, that would be absolutely awesome. We're coming up to 10:30. So, is there any more questions that anyone has in the chat for Jerimie?
Yes, feel free to ask me any questions, guys. I'll answer them as best I can.
Cool. But hopefully, most people will be going to Brighton for the next
Yes.
show. As I said earlier, you'll be vending there.
Yes, I'll be vending there. I'll have a lot of variety of stuff. Again, some personal collection stuff that I am selling on in order to focus on other projects. I'll have my breeding projects, so my true spiders hopefully will be there. And yeah, a whole different variety of inverts. Hopefully available at the show. Hopefully the moths and stuff like that. That'll be really cool, having display little pieces either side. I'm thinking because I got two tables, so I'll put one on one side with the death's heads and one side with the Atticus, if it all works out.
That'd be cool. So I said there's 3 other true spider breeders and one is setting up again at the moment.
Which is a good thing. Like I'm
Good,
not saying
good.
like it's only me. I'm just saying it's a good thing because the true spies definitely do need to be established. Like we rely on way too much on wild caught stuff right now, and it should really be the case of captive breeders readily available, just like tarantulas.
That's it. And at the end, I think the best traders are the ones that don't see each other as competition, but see each other as friends and
Exactly. That's the main thing. Like with me, I'm happy to disperse anything of my stuff within other breeders in order to keep them here in the UK, not just lose them again until the next import comes in. I'm in a group. I don't know if you're in it on Facebook, which is what did they change the name to? True Spider Enthusiasts. There's a bunch of us in there. Shout out to Carl and Jenny, like they're breeders and stuff like that, and we're all working together in order to sort out some true spider stuff here in the UK. Like I'm actually getting a mature male Hedgepod de Lanula in order to breed my female, which would be fantastic because the Lanula, again, are a come and go species, and for how beautiful they are, they shouldn't be. So hopefully the breeding pair works out male just matured today, so we'll see what happens in the next month or so.
That'd be cool.
100%.
I
do right now.
Oh, you do? Nice.
Yes. Well, I had a little sling wander into my room, coincidentally, and I've been growing it up for the past couple months. I don't know if you will be able to see the little one.
Go on, Forceman. See.
Oh, there we go. Right there.
Oh yeah, yep, just about. Yep, we can just make, yeah.
Yeah, so I've had this little one for a couple months now, and probably will keep it over the winter and release it once it starts getting a little bit more warmer. But yeah, it's doing really good. Great spider to keep if you like heavy webbing species. They make a lot of web and they're very quick, so it's very fun. Just like they're literally like the UK's Linothelli. That's what I think of them as. They're super cool. They get a big size too. So if you want a free pet, go and collect one. Or do me and get lucky with a sling.
That'd be very cool. Ooh. Scott's got a mature male red fang.
Oh yes, Scott, that would be amazing. Because I've got my female who's been laying sacks. I've got another. I think she's sub-adult female too. I've been raising her since a juvie last year, so hopefully she'll be ready to breed soon. But yeah, so that would be very much appreciated. That male does survive. Just saying, I had a pair too, and I don't know. I can't. That's why I'm saying my red fangs are captive born, because I don't know if they paired, because he went behind there about 10 minutes, and then I turned my back for 1 second. All I hear is a scuffle, and she's locked onto his head. So I don't know if they paired, so I can't really say, but that's why I'm calling him as captive born at the moment. That's one thing that's very important too, for me, is to be completely honest with my spiders. If they're captive born from a wild caught female, I will state them as captive born. I'll not claim them to be captive bred. Obviously, with the Holcona, they're captive bred. I'm captive born of the Oconfinicensis and Hematosoma, but obviously, as the future goes, I'll hope to have a lot more captive bred than captive born stuff. Species dependent, of course.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing that you do. And actually, the beneficiary even had a little sign, differentiating between what the symbol's meant of. CBB was captive born, not captive bred,
yes,
and stuff. Because you do get, to say, a lot of people that will claim things are captive bred when they're not. They're wild caught. They come and grab with females, and they've hatched out in captivity.
Yes,
and stuff.
Which again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Captive born isn't a bad thing. It's a great thing for the hobby, because it allows for us, like myself and other people, to work with a bunch of slings and establish pairs and stuff like that. But with the thing with them being captive born is we don't know how many are genetically suited to live in captivity. And what we want to do with these captive born ones is grow up the ones that have the good genetics for the captivity, keep those in, breed them, just like the tarantulas have been for the past couple decades.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Gemma. All right, take care. Thanks for joining it.
See you later.
These are about do many people keep UK native tree spiders? I don't know of. You get the odd few. I mean, I did as a kid. I would catch them and keep them for a little bit and then release them.
I've kept all kinds of stuff. I've kept the Aranius, our native orb weaver. Of course, I've got the house spider right now. I mean, I've got God knows how many false widows in my room, which is a good thing. Fruit flies get everywhere, so.
Oh, we've got false widows everywhere.
False widows are great. They're great little things. If I have fruit flies escape, I don't care.
Unless they go into enclosures, and then it's like, no, you come out of the enclosure.
And it's like, you are getting fed to the isopods. You are not eating my manka.
That's it. So, which is always.
But yeah, we got some cool native spiders.
We have very
nothing wrong with keeping them. Yeah, I mean we've got fishing spiders, we've got purse webs, we've got all kinds of cool stuff. But again,
over 650 species of spider native to the UK.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Crab spiders. jumping spiders, all kinds of stuff.
I don't know. He's also got mature male phalanx out on loan.
Amazing. Yes, please. That would be fantastic. Yes.
He's
I've got a female phalanx right now. I have paired Sericata, Linethelli Sericata. Had 2 sacks. The last one, recent, had mites all over it, so unfortunately the eggs were bad. And the first one was eaten, so I don't know if she'll lay another one, but that's the thing with Linethelli. Haven't had success with them, unfortunately, but hopefully with the phalanx, if he does survive, I'll get it cracked. Crack down on Linethelli's.
That'd be cool. There we go. Yeah, see.
Exactly. That's the good thing. Just be honest. If they're not bred, they're not bred. If they're born, they're born. It's no problem. Nothing wrong with it.
That's it. But you know that, you can certainly keep her to carry full term and successfully give birth to them. That if you got a male or get a male, and then actually bring them in and go, oh, these are now captive bred.
Now they're captive bred. Exactly. It's like with the vinegaroon, captive born. Not a lot of, I don't know. I know a few people have, but not a lot of people have had success having the eggs to hatch. And having the captive born babies, you're going to have that thing for like 7 to 10 years, depending. They'll last a long time, and that's a good thing. The wild caught vinegaroons, you don't know how old they are. They'll die maybe 5 years from now or next month. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You absolutely never know.
And that's why it's great to have captive born stuff, because at least it's been born here. Life expectancy in captivity is this. Hopefully, I can have it all the way to adulthood.
Yeah, definitely. I'll leave the book I recommend. Fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed the book. It's a good book, the spider book. And then, Steve's after a male Javanametris cyanus. I don't have the species at the moment.
Tim might have. I think Tim's got a couple pairs of them, doesn't he?
Tim Baxter.
Yes. Maybe worth messaging him, see if he can loan you a male, Steve.
And he does like his scorpions.
My God, 24 Imperator. Oh. Not jealous at all.
Yeah.
What's the cost of an arm and a leg, though?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, they're so small. The baby dwarfs, they are so small. Jerimie's frozen.
Oh.
I'm
back. Yes, I had to switch my 4G. I don't know what happened there. Wi-Fi, stuff like that. Of course, when it happens nearer to the end of the stream.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, they are very cool.
Tim spent 1,400 on scorpions.
Oh my God.
It's like,
I say that, but I spent a couple hundred on Sporatidaes from Thailand. So,
what you're passionate about, and at the end,
of course, and it's all going to a good cause. It's not just hogging them; he's raising them and hoping to breed them here in the UK.
That's it. That's not even fun. There's people that some people will be like, oh my God, someone spent that amount on it, but then there's people that spend that amount modding their car up.
Exactly. At least the things I can make money on, like the car, is just going to go over time anyway. It's like, well, depending. I'm not.
That's it. So, there's only worse things you can spend that amount of money on. Really,
exactly. There is a lot worse you can spend. You could buy a bag or a pair of shoes.
Yeah, there's people out there that spend on a pair of shoes.
Exactly. It's like with my spiders, like, yes, I bought a lot, but like I said, and I always say, it's for good intentions. I'm not just keeping them just because I like them. Keeping them in hopes that if they are gravid, the later sacks, I can raise the slings and again establish captive bred stuff in the UK, because we need that 100%. And to be honest, most of the hobby needs that captive bred true spiders.
Yeah, and just anything in general that's not, you don't necessarily see all the time. You get millipedes. Millipedes need to be bred a lot more.
Definitely.
So many millipedes are just wild caught all the time. So
Because they can be collected en masse, it's
yep.
cheap. It's like, yes, it's cheap, but
You
again, you
turn
never
over
know when
a
they'll just cut them off.
log, you can find like 200 giant trained millipedes just on the one log.
Yeah, and it's like oh, we'll just collect that, we'll sell them for a couple pounds to the people who buy them, and they'll sell them for a tenner.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah, like what if you can't do that anymore, like with the Imperator? Then you have a bit of an issue there. So I always encourage it. Breed your stuff, guys. It doesn't matter if you've just gotten a hobby recently or you're 30 years experience. Breed your
have a go.
stuff. If you can, do it. Why not? You've not got anything to lose.
That's it.
Well, if you're buying the stuff, maybe a couple quid, but like it's not expensive.
Yeah, just have a go and get them out there. But whatever it is, like, yeah, hopefully the my new assassins will be breeding hopefully in no time, sort of thing. Because it's basically just you don't see them as often anymore. I used to see them all the time, but don't see that species as often nowadays. Sort of thing.
And it's because they're not readily bred anymore, which is a shame.
That's it.
So hopefully, make a comeback.
And that's like, yeah, when I got the giant atlas was a Calcosoma Kokorskus, it was like, again, hardly ever see those captive bred, really. I think.
Always brought in.
Always, it's always. That's right, because it's only the adults that tend to sell well, because people see the adult and go, "Oh my god, they're amazing!"
Like, whoa, they're so cool. Let me buy them. It's like see a grub, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Grubs can be so difficult to sell sometimes, because unless people know beetles and are really into the beetles, people don't buy grubs. But they'll happily spend a lot more money on the adult beetles, and you're like, yeah, but this is only going to live maybe a month.
Like a month or two. It's like, yeah, but they're pretty. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Any big wolf spiders in the UK?
Native wise, no.
Yeah,
we have wolf spiders, but we don't have any large ones, unfortunately. If we did have large ones, I'd be keeping them. But we do have like minuscule lycosids.
Decent sized other spiders. Like Dolomedes. Dolomedes.
They are very cool. Very large.
And they're stunning as well.
Yeah, it's like, Britain has boring natives. Well, no, you're just not looking right at the right stuff. And look at the Dolomedes we have here, and you will think differently. They're very beautiful.
It's a stunning one. I've been not too far away from the habitat. Well, I'm not too far away anyway from the habitat of the native Dolomedes.
Oh, dude, I would love to see one in the wild.
Again, got friends who worked on the project for them and stuff to rear them up in captivity and then re-release back into the wild, basically captive rear them and stuff, to the point that the habitat in Norfolk and Suffolk is now filled, and the ones that
I know where I'm going.
The ones that were released are breeding in the wild,
which is all we can ask for.
So it's like there's a great conservation story that basically got ticked off by zoos. So like, they've done it for a few years, to the point there's like, cool, we're not needed now. Kind of thing. They can do it by themselves now.
There you go. So, you guys are fine. Until next time. Don't let there be a next time, but you guys do your thing now.
Bye, Scott.
Take care, Scott. See you later, dude.
That will be my cricket, Steve. And the side yours.
How many people have pointed out that cricket today?
Just starts the hairs off.
I mainly use roaches, guys. So any chirping is not me.
So, I don't really use roaches for mainly because if anything got out, I would probably be sacked.
Like that's the thing with the lobster ocean. I don't have anxiety for, but
Oh,
I found out
oh,
PTFE for ants is great for the lobster oceans. They can't climb PTFE, and I got bottles of it for my ants, so it works
that's
out.
right. I'm going to say that'd be. Oh, just can you
Yeah, just
imagine
put it like
one?
half of the the phonarium. I just put it, just wiping PTFE, like making sure they don't escape.
Yeah, you don't want lobster roaches again. How they? Yeah, they would
Jesus
be
Christ, they will be
right nightmare.
everywhere,
Right
everywhere.
nightmare.
Like thank
Yeah,
God.
I had them. I did have them years ago when I lived with my parents. I was like, yeah, these
Yeah, they're
can't wait
established here now. Oh God.
sort of thing. But oof. So, when did it transfer
Probably
time?
around now, to be honest. Like they'll
Yeah,
start
so
slowing down. They'll lay their sacks and they'll pass on. Like especially with our orb weavers, like they're probably already well bred. They're starting to lay their egg sacs now.
yeah,
They'll huddle over them and then die. Maybe the Eretogena, they'll tuck away depending on where they're living. They'll be okay.
I've got just a little bed. So it's moved. I've had a garden spider living just kind of across my window for the past few weeks. I was like, hey, you can say that and stuff. But
Yeah, why
it's
not?
just moved on now.
Oh, it's all moved off. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna keep this little sling, give it a chance in my room for a bit, and then release it when it gets to spring. Give it a chance in the garden. Got a little log pile that I let native inverts all live in, so I'll chuck it in there.
No worries, Leah. Fine. Steve asked how you going to AntCon 23.
I want to, but Antcon's very far from me.
I'll say it's like North Wales, so like
Yeah, it's super far. It's like 3 hours. I want to. I love ants. Like
that'd be more than
I
that.
want to. Yeah, it's like I think for that one in 2023 will take me like 4 hours to get to, maybe by train. And even the one that they're doing in a couple months' time is like 2.5.
Which one's in a couple of months' time?
I think is it Suffolk or Norfolk? I can't remember. But yeah, I think it's somewhere around there. One of they did the I think similar to the one they did this year again. They had the at the little school round kind of thing.
Oh, I haven't heard of one in Suffolk or Norfolk, and
I it might be wrong off the top of my head, but yeah, I was looking it up and I was like, oh, it's about 2.5, 3 hours on the train. I don't know. But I do want to go because Antics goes there, and my God, they have some amazing species. Like I got my trapjaws from them. They got the vampire ants in. I want those.
nice.
They have the Dynamyrmex gigas, which is the largest ant in the world. But they're like 400 pounds. I'm not spending 400 pounds on an ant. I'm sorry.
So what now?
Yeah. It's like, you guys think you spend a lot on your spiders. Yeah, some ants are worth a few £100.
Hey, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
I'll see if there says the Ants on the Rock show.
Yes,
one?
I think he's the one that hosted, right?
He done one in Bristol, didn't he, this year? I think he's doing one in Sheffield next year.
Yeah, I think it's Sheffield, yeah.
And stuff.
Bit
And then,
far, so it's like, yeah. And again, I could get vampire ants. Those are so cool. Ever seen those before, the vampire ants?
I don't think I've seen those, but I've heard of them, but I don't think I've seen them.
They are so cool. Like, they're very protein hungry, but not for them. They're for the larvae because they feed off the blood of their own larvae and pupa. They'll make a small incision. You got it.
I don't know if it's one recorded, but I just crawled up my leg.
So that's the whole reason I don't work with crickets anymore. Just, they're crawling all over me and biting me, and like, go away.
Hello, you. I don't think it's the one that's been called because the call sounds from over there, not near me. It's been a very loud call. But it has stopped. Now I've just caught this. Maybe this one is a female. So
maybe that's the one he's been trying to attract.
Just been trying to track this one.
Oh, crickets! I don't miss them at all.
I'll go in an enclosure somewhere.
Nice little snack for someone tonight.
This is one time I was like, one of the things I've got
Who
is
can I feed?
on the prowl. I'll see if I've got. Here's the thing, I normally have loads of tubs around. I can just stick it in somewhere.
I mean, I've got tubs all around me at the moment.
That's
Everything's
it.
on the floor.
There we go. Wraps and pop, I think.
There we go.
And go there and then go in something tonight, probably.
Oh, crickets.
Always happens. So, apparently, oh, Steve. Vampire ants suck.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
they suck on their own young.
The elephant is the biggest ant.
They are pretty big, I'll give you that. But Dynamyrmex, oh god, they are massive things. The queens are like huge. Couple inches.
And they've also got you got European giant red.
Ooh. Is that one of the Camponotus? Notus. I always say dus, but it's tus apparently. Camponotus.
Oh, no. The only ants I keep are at work, and they are Acromymex, the leaf cutter ants.
Ooh. I want some of those in my garage. Just have like a massive loop around and just have them in the middle.
And this is only the second species of ant that I've ever kept, because before these ones I had the Atta. I had Atta cephalotes.
Oh, wow. What, in your own personal collection?
No, at work.
At work, okay.
And then
Still, I'd love to have leaf cutters.
When the Queen passed, and they're like, I was like, right, if we get more, how we got to do it, sort of thing, what we get. And I was like, but I would recommend Acromymex over Atta just because of colony size.
Atta are ridiculous. They can get into the hundreds of thousands. It's crazy. For one queen.
You've seen they put like cement down X colonies of Atta.
Oh, it's crazy.
And
it's like a whole.
It's like the size of a semi-detached house. Sometimes some of the real big ones.
It's absolutely crazy. This is one ant colony, and there's thousands of these.
That's it.
Those Dracula ants. Oh, I want a colony so bad. I'd love to see the. I don't know what they would call it.
We've had a cricket crawl out of his tool bag when he's doing a plumbing job. Nice.
Well, I mean, at Doncaster, when I got my Maderiana, I was trying to show Ryan it, and it jumped out on his girlfriend's car. She was going to hit me because it ran, in the boot, like has that little compartment at the bottom. Yeah, it ran in there, and we spent 10 minutes trying to grab this bloody, excuse my language, bloody huntsman, wolf spider just crawling. Every time I went to grab it, just tuck right into another corner, lift it up, runs away. I'm like, ah.
No, oh wow, Lee.
That must have been very awkward.
Interesting one. I had back when I was at school in Dundee, old thing, get to classroom, whatever. Yeah, get your pencil case out of your backpack, and so I put the pencil case down, and out came a whole bunch of mealworms out of the pencil case. I was like,
God. So this happened.
Sort of thing. And stuff. Ali's going to just check on the Ants HQ website. Yeah, because Ants HQ are at the show. I think they're doing pretty much all the Invert Show UK shows, I think.
I love the guys over there. Shout out to you guys, Ants HQ. You guys are the best. Always hooking me up with good deals.
So, they do some nice stuff. I mean, like
I just had the Camponotus maculatus colony off them, and they are amazing. Really, really cool ants. One I'd recommend, like if you ever get into ants, get the maculatus. They're great.
Yeah, I really like look at the nest they're doing now with the little LED lights in the nest, so you can like see right inside the nest. They look really, really cool.
I got one.
Yeah, is that one? That's the one. That looks so.
And then inside, that one's not got any batteries in it. Typical. Oh, I've got a flash on my phone. It's not plugged in right now, so I'll just show.
Look at
You
that.
guys
It's like,
see? Oh no, that's the wrong side. Oh god, wait. Hang on. I'm trying not because the magnet. I don't want to knock the top off by accident because it's
yeah,
held together by magnets.
yeah.
Where? Oh god, I can't. There we go. In there. Let's see if I can get the torch. Can you guys see them? This is a Marana Plus bicolor. The fuzzy shield ant. Really
Fuzzy
cool.
shield.
Yeah, they're really cool. They have an armored plating on the back of their head, and it has 2 little spikes, and they're really fuzzy.
But yeah, no, they look really cool. Ollie says Manica rubita. Rubida?
Yeah.
Manica
Oh,
rubida.
you got some of them. Yeah, those are really cool. Nasty little sting on those things. Yeah, I would not want to get a sting.
I haven't, Leah, but I've just been going off stuff on Chronic with all different messages from people. And then Susan, I got Mesa barbarus. Oh, nice.
Very nice species, Steve. I've got Mesa barbarus too. I've got the Marana Plus bicolor, 2 trapjaw species, Odontomachus, Monticola, and Rixosis. I've got what's the other one I have? The Campanose maculatus, and then Lattice niger, and a European honeypot species I can't remember the name of.
You got honeypot ants, nice.
Yeah, I got the European ones. They have yet to lay any eggs, and there's 2 queens in there. Don't know why, but apparently the founding stage is very slow, so I'm not too fussed about it right now. So hopefully they'll lay some eggs soon.
That'd be cool. So yeah, no, yeah, I was looking at the those kits yesterday. Actually, I was like, you know what, that's something that could fit potentially somewhere.
Honestly, it's fantastic. It's really good, and it's so nice that you're actually able to see the colony. Like, yeah, people have designs for the red to come off, and you can look in there, flash a light, but to actually have the LED in there, so cool.
That's it. That's what's like. That's cool. Like, okay, not gonna have that on all the time, but that's cool. Like, if doing like any
occasionally, if you want to see the queen, see how it's doing, if there's any new brew pile,
just stuff like that. Stick it on there to have a look in and stuff. Okay.
You can take the glass off as well. So if you do need to, like rehouse them, there's like the shake method. So if you do need to quickly tip them out, you just pour the whole colony out.
Yep.
Really quickly, and get in there and get some nice macro shots of them and stuff like that. Obviously, depending on colony size, you don't want to take that glass off and them just all just run out.
Just have loads of yeah, no.
Just a few. Luckily, with the bicolor, the Marana Plus bicolor, they're slower, and so I don't have to worry about that. So I can get nice shots of them. They're really cute.
That's cool. We're actually coming up to 11 o'clock. So I'm probably going to cut the like, 1 minute to 11. So
that is fine, dude. This has been absolutely amazing.
Hours.
Again, thank you so much for inviting me.
For me, the time is absolutely flown by. I was like, oh yeah, I forget, maybe a couple of hours, but to get 3 hours is absolutely amazing.
It's been amazing, dude. And again, if you ever want me to come on, I'll be more than happy to.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'm going to be able to make these a sort of fairly regular thing with various people. I'm hoping, all being well, next week I might have Joe of Escape to Nature coming on.
Ooh.
Stuff. Who it's a shop in Norwich that was. Well, it was an aquascaping shop, but he does inverts and everything nowadays since he now owns the shop. And stuff,
nice.
Does all sorts of terrariums and things like that. So we're going to hopefully have a good chat of and get these into all his different inverts as well. So that'll be quite interesting. Hopefully another great one. But this has been a great a great stream. Hopefully, everyone else will agree. So,
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Been a really, really good time again. Phil, thank you so much.
Isn't subscribed to Jerimie will hop over to subscribe to Jerimie stuff. Check out Instagram as well stuff. And if you're going to Brighton show, go over and check out Jerimie's stand. Definitely. I think you're the only person I got livestock from at Bedford. I did spend.
I'm glad you're enjoying those.
I didn't spend a lot of better because I didn't sell that much, but I was like the things I eyed up the most was the snails that I got. And thanks again for the vinegaroon as well.
Dude. I'm glad you're enjoying them.
It was fantastic. I mean, I love vinegaroons. So I've got an adult giant one over there, and then I've got the one of the Thai ones as well.
Ooh, yeah, those are nice.
I've had for a few years actually. Which I was gifted. Someone won it in a raffle and gifted it to me. Which was really kind of them. Which is really kind of them. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, Jerimie, and thanks for everyone in chat for watching and asking questions. Have been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, hope to see you all again soon. My next video for me is on Wednesday evening, which will be show footage and hopefully pickups. When's your next video coming out? Do you know?
Probably on Friday. I'm planning because I got the day off on Wednesday. The next video idea for me will be an update on my slings. So you'll be seeing everything from back here. There's 3 different kinds of slings here, and then obviously my own breeding projects and stuff like that as well. So hopefully will come out Friday. If not, will be next week. So yeah, definitely feel free to check that out, guys, if you want to keep up to date with what babies I have.
Yeah, look out for that. But until then, go and watch more of Jerimie's videos, especially like AES pickups. There's some good pickups in that AES pickups.
Thank you very much. I was stoked with what I came home with, especially the Atlas moths. So cool.
They were good. Anyway, so yeah, cheers for joining. Thanks for watching, everyone, and
thank you very much.
See you again. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.
Take care, guys. See you.